Yo, welcome into the panel. Today, we will be breaking down the highly anticipated Pacific Division. Yes, this is some of your favorite teams like the Los Angeles Lakers, the Golden State Warriors, the Phoenix Suns, the LA Clippers, and the Sacramento Kings. We'll be going down the West Coast and talking about which one of these teams will actually win the Pacific Division. I think it's going to be a runaway. We'll be talking about who's the best players on each team, and more specifically, who's the best players in this division. And we'll just get down to the bottom of everything that we need to talk about in this division. Fellas, you ready to do this?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. From the beginning, I got a super chat from One Employment. He said, "Salute, Chill. Chill, do you like my new hairdo, man?"
That's wow.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and do it. Mars, you good today?
I'm good every day, bro.
You have anything that you need to get off your chest before we get into this episode?
Is there something I should want to get off my chest?
I do have to ask a question before we get started. Mars, yes or no?
Oh my god, I knew you was going to do that. I've turned a new leaf, man. I've turned a new leaf.
Is that a yes?
yes.
I was about to say, I was about to ask Mars, is that a no?
It will never be a no, but it might be a no comment.
Okay.
One day.
All right.
All right, fellas. Well, can't really talk about the Kings because we need the big ox here. Can't talk about the Lakers because I have a friend of mine that's going to come up here before we get into the Lakers. Don't necessarily want to talk about the Suns yet. The Warriors, let's go ahead and start with the Suns. The Phoenix Suns, fellas. How are we feeling about the Suns, their offseason moves, what they've done up to this point, and what do we expect them to do this next year? Mars, you can go ahead and kick it off for us. Talk to us about the Phoenix Suns and your thoughts and expectations.
I think they made good moves. The biggest concern for them was they didn't have a point guard, a table setter, an initiator. They went and got two of them. Two of the best who are available for their price range, Monte Morris and Tyus Jones. Am I really high on either one of them? No, but they addressed the needs in that department, allowing Devin Booker to ideally go back to his natural position as the off guard and play where he's more comfortable. I think he did a pretty good job as a point guard last year, but you want him in his best position, which I think is the two. They got some more defense on the wings with Ryan Dunn, who I think can actually provide some very valuable minutes for them. Mason Plumlee as a backup five is a major improvement over Drew Eubanks. Getting in Mike Budenholzer, who I think is a very good regular season coach at the bare minimum, should help them pursue a playoff position in this tough West. I think being able to actually get a top 6 seed is probably more valuable than it's ever been in this Western Conference. So having a great regular season coach, despite some of the concerns I've had about him in the playoffs, but I'm not going to question him in the regular season. Having that is extremely valuable because you don't want to go on a slide where you lose 4 in a row and you go from the 4 seed to the 9 seeds and then you risk missing the playoffs because that's how crazy this West is. So overall, I think the Suns have had about
that could be a death sentence.
Facts. And I think the Suns have had as close to a perfect offseason for what they had available to them as possible. They didn't have a lot of money because they got the Bradley Beal contract, they got the Devin Booker contract, they got the KD contract. They just paid Grayson Allen, who shot like 600% from 3. But considering the money they had, I think they drafted well. Ryan Dunn, I think, was a perfect pick for them. I like Oso Iguodala. I don't know how much he's going to play, but I like him. I feel like if I was to give them a grade, it would be like a A-. That I think they've had as close to a good offseason as possible. So I'm high on the Suns now. Does that mean I think they're going to be a top 6 seed? I don't know. But they are really good. So I think they're a team to be concerned about if I was a Western Conference competitor.
Whenever you have I just feel like whenever you have Kevin Durant on your team, whenever you have Bradley Beal on your team, you got ballers on your team, you're going to be at minimum competitive. And the fact that they still have those guys on their team, I think that they're going to be competitive. Filling the need of the point guard, that's just half the problem that was solved. Because if you have a table setter, but we're still doing the same thing that we were doing last season, which is one pass goal, pick and roll go, as opposed to changing the offense, which is what was to their detriment. In fact, when they ran into Minnesota, that actually that played right into the Minnesota Timberwolves' hands. The Minnesota Timberwolves are a great one-on-one defensive team with Anthony Edwards, with Jaden McDaniels, with Rudy Gobert. They play damn good one-on-one defense. So when you're playing against a team that's primarily a one-on-one team that doesn't make you work on defense, where the ball isn't moving, where there's not much action, you make it a lot less difficult for them. So I feel like them supplementing their point guard spot by getting a point guard and 2 of them, I think that's just half the problem that was solved. And now I feel like the offense needs to be changed. I think that they could have done a better job in dealing with Nurkic, because I still think that they need a guy on the block that they can go to for buckets. I don't think Nurkic has been as consistent as much for me, considering what the Western Conference is, and it's been a nightmare when you're talking about big guys. Contrary to popular belief, I'm a big fan of Grayson Allen in the aspect of what he brings. You know, a guy who can stretch the defense, who will defend, who is gritty, who is tough. He does have a little bit of edge to him where he can be dirty from time to time. But if you take some of that out, I think that that's a lot of what they need. I still think that I think that they can be a playoff team, a top 6, top 7 team, but I don't really have them going far in the playoffs. I don't.
Casual, would you like to tell us your thoughts on the Phoenix Suns and your expectations going into this next year?
My thoughts on the Phoenix Suns. I think the Phoenix Suns are pretty good. My only issue is the depth. I know they tried to address it at the trade deadline last year, but they got 2 borderline top 10 players. If you count Booker floating on, knocking on the door, being a top 10 player, then obviously Kevin Durant's a top 10 player. So you got 2 guys who can get you 30 a night right there. But like I think Chill was talking about the point guard thing. If they can kind of figure that out, I think this can be a better unit. Because last year it was kind of just all ISO. They didn't really have an offensive identity. If this team can get an offensive identity, I think they will be better. I see them winning almost 50 games next year. I think they're pretty good.
Offensive identity. When you say offensive identity, what do you mean? Because they got their best player is KD, right?
Yeah.
That's number one. And with that being said, Devin Booker, I mean, he's a scorer who can pass. He's not much of a passer. He can pass. But their identity was KD and Devin Booker. I mean, Bradley Beal was their 3rd guy. He was 17-7 last year. With that being said, KD was their identity. He was their bucket getter on offense. He was primarily their guy. Now, when you say their identity, what do you mean when you say their identity?
When just free ball movement, just have the ball move around. Because when you got Beal, Booker, and Kevin Durant, all 3 of them on the perimeter, and you're just constantly moving the ball, then Grayson Allen, one of the best shooters in the league last year in the corner, that's hard to stop when you have everyone in motion moving the ball. The problem is when they get stagnant, you're kind of letting the defense off the hook. But if they can move the ball, get defenders not in their spots, I think that's just a better offensive identity for them. Not being too isolated and get the ball moving, because that would just be hard to guard. Who are you going to guard? Beal, Durant, Booker, when the ball's just moving?
They had a pretty good defense last year, too. I don't think we talked nearly as much about that. I mean, they weren't terrible. I mean, they were better than average. And offensively, I mean, they had a top 10 offense. I think the problem was the way that offense is constructed, very ISO-heavy offense. It played right in. That was a bad matchup for them in the first round with Minnesota. Bad matchup for them.
Yo, Big Ox, talk to me about the Phoenix Suns.
I think the Phoenix Suns are dangerous. I think they're better than last year. They went and fixed that point guard issue. I think if Bradley Beal can play a lot of second unit minutes, I think the Phoenix Suns can make a real good push in the Western Conference when it's playoff time. But you just got to wait and find out. I don't know. I think Bud might be able to change some things, shake some things up. So we just got to wait and see with them. Really, it's just a wait and see thing.
Big fella, why you so quick to hold on, Ron, real quick? Big fella, why you so quick to lessen guys' role? I hear you doing that. Like we talked about Julius Randle, Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal's 30 years old.
Confirmed coming off the bench.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Bradley Beal is 30 years old. He's still in his prime, yo. I mean, you quick to lessen the guy's role.
Lessen his role. I think he needs to play more second units. I think if anything, that's bigging his role up. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't got to sit on the court with with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant all the time. The
Mm.
second unit is yours. I think that's a promotion.
Yeah, it
How
all
would that-
depends what that starting lineup looks like. But I just don't see a world where Bradley Beal just comes off the bench. I don't see it. Ideally, you probably
come off the bench.
Ideally, you probably want him to because the Booker Beal
play a
fit
lot of
isn't
second
that
units.
good. But
Yeah, I
don't
said
know
play a
if
lot
you
of
can get him
second
off
unit
the
minutes. I didn't say bring him off the bench.
So he could start, but he's going to play with the second unit a lot, is what you're saying.
Just
I
a
don't know
lot
if
of staggered
I don't
minutes.
know if he starts or not. I'm just saying
Right.
he should play a
He
lot of
could.
second unit minutes.
You're not sure if he's starting, but he could play a lot of staggered minutes with the second
Yeah,
unit.
on top of that, I don't care how much you're getting paid. I don't care where you got drafted. I don't care about any of that. I care about what's good for them. Well, I'm not coaching the team. I'm just answering Ron's question.
What I'm saying, though, Ox, you know pro basketball.
exactly.
You know that the money matters. You know that a guy making 45, 50 million bucks. You know that he's not going to be a second unit guy. No,
It shouldn't matter. The only thing that should matter is winning basketball games. So, you know,
only
been the best player on his team like his whole life, and he's been starting until now.
that doesn't
It's a
matter.
hard decision to make.
And once again, I didn't say don't start him. I said you should play a lot of second unit minutes.
I just think him and Devin Booker do the same thing. They both bucket getters. I think Devin Booker is more of a passer, but I think they kind of run into each other a lot, and I think that's where the problem is. And if one of playing them both together could work, but I feel like Book is more suited than Bradley Beal, and playing both of them at the same time. I like it. I like playing one of them more than I like playing both of them together.
I mean, and with that being said, if you did do that, like I could see Grayson starting at the 2, and Brad coming off the bench. I could see that, but
so you still have Devin Booker at the 1?
Have to be that way. Nah, Dev played at 3.
Oh, okay.
Yo, can I get the floor and the ceiling for the Suns this year? In terms of, and you can either do playoffs or you can do the regular season. I'll leave it up to your discretion. Mars, we're going to start with you.
Well, how realistic are we going with the floor? Because if I just say they all get injured.
No, a realistic floor.
The 11 seeds.
Mm.
And the ceiling. Top 4 seeds, favorable matchups get you to the conference finals. I think is an absolute ceiling. Yeah, that's probably what I'd go with. So 11 seed to conference finals, I guess.
Okay. Casual.
Their floor would probably be the 10th seed, that 10th seed play-in spot. I'd put that at their floor. I don't see a world where they don't make the playoffs unless everyone gets hurt. But ceiling, I don't think this is an NBA Finals team. I'd put it right there in the conference finals.
Okay. Chill, you muted.
Oh, sorry.
You good.
So last year when now they fixed the point guard spot. The offense got to change. But they were the 7 seed last year. So now KD is a year older, but I still think they're going to be competitive, right? Book is arguably a top 10 player, definitely a top 15 player. I think their floor is a play-in team. I think their ceiling is a top 5 team, and they're out in the semifinals. That's as far as I think that they go.
All right. Ox.
I think their floor is second round exit. I think their ceiling is the NBA champs.
Ox, you and these damn ballers. Oh, my goodness. Ox, you and these damn ballers. You said the same thing to me last year about these dudes, man. They got mopped in round 1. They didn't lose. They got mopped.
Chill, they a better team this year, though.
It's like the same team.
Like
I don't think they're significantly better, though, to go.
I don't need, neither do I, Casual. I don't.
Here's
it's not
also,
like they need a major move. Okay.
Yeah,
They also might just avoid the Timberwolves around.
I think they did make some major moves for their team. It might not be a major move in terms of, we went and got the most coveted free agent, or we went and got us a superstar. But I really think highly of Tyus Jones and Monty Morris's ability to really just not turn the ball over and play the game in a smart and efficient way. That helps a lot. When you put like high IQ guys next to the trio that they have, next to shooters
Ron, are
like
you
Royce
really
O'Neal
sitting here-
and Grayson Allen.
Ron,
That's-
are you
that-
really
that-
sitting
that means
here
a lot.
talking about
Talking like
IQ guys?
Tyus Jones is Chris Paul.
No, not only that. This is the same dude who complained when Giannis Antetokounmpo's coach gave Giannis the ball almost every trip and had no counters. Just give Giannis the ball. Giannis is the bailout, and this is their coach now. So now they've upped it.
Okay,
Now
he's
they
the
got a different
bailout?
coach. Who?
So KD's the bailout. I can live with that.
I can live with KD being the bailout.
Not just KD, Booker's the bailout. They got more bailouts than the Bucks do.
At
And
some point,
on top of that, if the coach is just gonna be like roll the ball out, it's not too many better teams in the league to just roll the ball out and say, "Hey, go get me something."
Ron, they got mopped in the playoffs.
They
They
rolled
did
the ball out.
chill.
in the first round
They
last
did
year.
chill,
got
but
swept.
they did chill. But once again, this is a different team. Mars brought up Mason Plumlee as a backup big. I like Mason Plumlee as a backup big to Nurkic.
I do too. Sure.
But
100%.
once again, I like Royce O'Neal. I like Josh Okogie. I like Grayson Allen. This is still a very good unit.
And with that being said, Ron, at some point, Coach Bud is going to have to coach. At some point, he's going to have to coach, and he's going to have to sit down and counter schemes. In addition to him coming up with schemes, he's going to have to counter schemes, which has been one of his weaknesses. And we can't just give the ball to KD and get out the way, because we've seen how that worked. And I know it sounds great, Ox, because, again, KD is a baller, and he's going to give me 30. He's going to give me 28. There is no world where I don't see KD
I don't think it
just
sounds
get.
right.
I don't. There's no world where KD doesn't get busy. I won't argue that. But at some point, Coach has got to come up with different schemes. Coach has got to come up with counter schemes, and Coach Bud has struggled with that. And one of their major problems last season, was their offense. Now that you got a point guard, the offense has to change.
It changes automatically by having a point guard. Just automatically having a point guard, it changes. It's not that's simply just changes right there. Just the standard of what we're doing on offense. Now, what offensive sets or whatever we run, it's just a completely different lineup. Like Frank Vogel and Bud are just completely different coaches. So now that changes. Now I don't know what set they're going to run, but it's not going to be the same thing they did last year. They got Tyus Jones for a reason. Like I don't know why all of a sudden Tyus is getting no love when we saw how he was playing in Memphis
and in Washington.
You know what I'm saying? When not even Washington, just when he had a good team in Memphis and Ja went out, Tyus was doing his thing. I don't know if y'all missed that or if y'all forgot that, but that's what happened.
Forgot.
That was him without Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. But I guess we got amnesia. I don't know.
No, I remember.
When you get a team with a bunch of a bunch of shooting guards playing point guard, and then you got a team now. You finally have a solid point guard, a real point guard playing the point guard position. You have better flow, a better facilitator. You don't have Devin Booker trying to bring the ball up, and you don't have Kevin Durant trying to initiate offense. That right there automatically changes the offense. Like, and then on top of that, so imagine. So even if Frank Vogel was still the coach, the offense would still be naturally changed just because you now have a natural point guard playing the point guard position. But now you have a different coach, different team. It's different. Now, different isn't always better though. I'm willing to admit that different isn't always better, but it's gonna be different.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair
What
enough.
does that lineup look like though? Because you're talking a lot about Tyus Jones, but what exactly does that lineup look like? Is Tyus Jones going to start? Because you were praising him for being the point guard. Because if you're going to praise Tyus Jones for adding so much to this team, it's got to be in the starting lineup, in the lineup to close the game. That's the most important lineups in the basketball game. So where does Tyus Jones fit in that? And if Tyus Jones does start, what do we do with Bradley Beal? And if Bradley Beal does start, what do they do with Okogie and Royce O'Neal? Who's going to be their four? It can't be Kevin Durant. They need a wing defender. And if you start Tyus Jones and Bradley Beal, you don't really have that.
40 minutes is a lot of basketball to play.
100% it is, Ox. So if I got Tyus at the 1, I got Book at the 2, I got is KD playing the 3? KD plays a lot of 4. KD plays a lot of 4. Yeah, KD plays a lot of 4. So Royce O'Neal at the 3. That's your wing defender right there. Royce O'Neal at the 3. And then Nurkic at the 5.
Where's Devin Booker?
Yeah, where's Booker?
That's Book at the 2.
You just said Bradley Beal.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I said
So you're gonna. So that's my
If,
thing.
if,
So you're gonna have
if
to
you're
bench
bringing
Beal.
Grayson and Brad off the bench, you have a hell of a second unit right there.
That was
If
my
that's what
point. You're gonna have to bench
if that's
Beal
what you're
then.
doing.
And then
You're
what
not benching him. He's just not starting.
That's
Y'all
called
act like
Mars, I know what he's talking about. I know exactly
not.
what you're talking about, Ox. That's not the same
I
thing.
know Mars knows exactly what I'm talking
I
about.
know exactly what you're talking
It
about.
just sounded funny. I can't lie.
Just because you don't like y'all act like not starting is like y'all act like not starting is
not starting is not a bad thing, but
it's a demotion. Like you suck. No, that's not what's going on here.
If you don't start, you can still play 22
Yeah,
minutes.
that's no, Ox. It's I get what you're saying, but what I said is
you can still play 40 minutes.
Not what I also said, not only when you start the game, but your closing lineup as well. What does your closing lineup look like? That's pretty damn important too when it comes to winning basketball games. So is Bradley Beal not in the closing lineup then?
I mean, a situation.
I think it's what he said.
So then you don't have your point guard then.
Bradley Beal for sure closes the games. You know the big three are going to close the games.
It depends, Ron.
No, I get what you're saying, but
if Grayson Allen is on a heater, Tyus Jones has 9 assists. He's playing great defense. He's facilitating the ball. Brad might not close the game, and that's okay. That
okay,
then
you have to have that conversation with Bradley Beal and tell him, hey,
what makes you think that they're not?
Life, who's been proud
of that's okay. We don't got time for none of that prima donna shit.
All right,
if you do got time for that prima donna shit, then they are going to not be as good as I said they could possibly be.
Sounds very good in a vacuum.
That's up to these grown ass men. That's up to him. If he's gonna be like, oh well, I was the best player in high school, and well, all right, you're not gonna do shit this year. I've been the best. I've been the best player all my life. How dare you try to bring me off the bench? I got you guys aren't gonna do good.
Swiper, I need you to talk to me about the Phoenix Suns before we move on to the next team. I got a few questions for you. I need you to let me know just ultimately how you feel about them. Then let me know what's their floor and their ceiling. And then also I want to ask you and you alone, who is their X factor?
Well, can you ask those questions one at a time? I'm gonna forget. Yeah, last one.
I got you. Who got this playing in the background?
Ron, by the way, you need to check your phone, bro. I texted you like 3 times before the show started. Yeah, I think.
Good morning, Swiper.
Good morning. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. No morning, no nothing. No, it's been hurricane season out here, bro. Nothing's working. So
good morning, brother.
No, it's I'm hearing Tyus Jones talks and closing lineups and whatnot. I think some of this is their floor is going to be out the playoffs. And then their ceiling is going to be, I don't believe in their defense at all. Second round, probably more than likely second round. I think that if you're saying Tyus Jones, is he going to be the worst defensive guard in the Western Conference by like a considerable amount that's going to play those kind of minutes? Probably. Booker already, it's not like a great defender, but he's a good defender, connecting other defenders. They got exposed last year. And I don't think that Tyus Jones makes them markedly better in the things they need to get better in. Now, Ox, have they gotten my dog, Chris Dunn? I think we're moving. I think we're cooking,
You was talking about that a month ago. You did mention Chris Dunn. You did.
I was very glad he didn't go there, but he's now stuck on the bum Clippers, but he's going to help the Clippers too. He's a great player. So I think that their floor is out the playoffs. Their ceiling's the second round. They have no defense to speak of whatsoever. Pull-up jump shooting is still their main engine. I think Nurkic just had a really good year last year. We had this conversation before already, though. I don't like the formatting of their team. I think they're going to get smoked. And they also don't have like every time they get down in the series or down, they don't really fight back. And they were also terrible in 4 quarters all last season. They just don't have the things that make a championship team, unfortunately.
So, Swiper, who would you say is their most important player this season?
So if Rudy Gobert is the Minnesota Timberwolves' most important player, it probably would be if Nurkic plays
Bobo?
19, huh?
Bobo?
Is it the guy that they just added? Is it Tyus Jones? Because we already know who KD is, right? We know who KD is. Book showed this summer that he's actually a better on-ball defender than I thought. It just hasn't been as consistent as I would like. So I think that's going to be a point of emphasis this season. But we already know who KD is. They added Tyus Jones. So now you got a primary ball handler. So with all of these other guys that they added, Grayson Allen, Ryan Dunn, Plumlee, who is their most important player?
Kevin Durant.
Well, everybody know the NBA is not a little engine that could league. So Tyus Jones doesn't have motion like that, unfortunately. I'm gonna say most important, like raises our floor. Booker, Beal, KD do what they're supposed to do. Probably Nurkic. It just the center of their defense. It probably has to be Nurkic.
If they lose KD, what happens to this unit?
No, I'm saying, but he's their best player. But I'm saying that like
those two things are not the same.
Most important for them to go to the finals, like Ox says they can, then probably Nurkic. Just play out of his mind.
None of Nurkic's contributions matter if KD doesn't hold up his end of the bargain.
No,
none of them.
We're not having that conversation. I think KD.
But that's what makes KD the most important. KD, Devin Booker, because they have to do what they do to make the role players' jobs relevant. Yusuf Nurkic can anchor a hell of a defense. If KD and Devin Booker don't do anything, the Suns aren't going anywhere.
Do you think
the most important player is their best players?
Do you think do you think that Rudy Gobert is the most important player for the Wolves?
I think you can make the argument.
Well, I think he is, like bar none.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
But he's not the best player. You know, I think there's
So Miles, essentially what you're telling me
X factor.
So Miles, essentially what you're telling me is that KD and Book, just from an offensive standpoint, they could get us to the playoffs. That's it. Whatever Nurkic does is extra.
No, I'm just saying with whatever the Suns want to achieve, doesn't happen without Kevin Durant and Devin Booker.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That part I get.
So they're the most important players on the team.
Mars, that's expected though. Like you expect
that doesn't change how important they are. That's like who's the most important player for the Warriors? It's the Andrew Wiggins resurgence. No, it's Steph Curry. Like what are we doing? Like we're trying to be difficult for no reason.
But Mars, be that as it may, not necessarily Mars. Clay and Draymond, what they brought. Especially Draymond, what he brought to the table, his versatility, his defensive anchor. Obviously, Steph is their best player, but Draymond is very important in your ability to either floor raise or ceiling raise, whatever you want to classify it as.
Draymond Green is the second most important player in the world.
Important, just X factor. Just who's the most X factor of the Suns? Who's the X factor?
That makes more sense.
We know Book
we get to say
are going to get their 30. They're going to get their 25. They're going to be great. Who's the X factor? Who's the guy that if he's good, it changes everything? We know Booker and KD are going to be good. But what about if this guy is good? If he's consistently good night in, night out, that raises the ceiling of his team. To me, that's Bradley Beal. But I wonder what you guys think. Because I think that Bradley Beal is that 16 to 20 point per game guy on a given night, because we saw last year how deadly the Suns could be if they move the ball around and Bradley Beal's hitting threes. We saw last playoff series when he's chewing out Vogel, looking out of it, he's bricking shots. The Suns are a disaster. They traded all their depth, their picks for Bradley Beal, and if Bradley Beal isn't sharp, if Bradley Beal isn't hitting his shots, if Bradley Beal's just getting destroyed on defense, then they have no chance. Obviously, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker are going to get their 20 to 30 regardless. The X factor is definitely Bradley Beal. Well, if he's on, there was games. Remember that game last year? Was it Bradley Beal's like first or second game back against the Lakers, and he went for like 30? Like how deadly the Suns could be if Bradley Beal is on. Dangerous.
Well, here's the difference with that though. But like you just mentioned, Bradley Beal. Well, what's his availability? I think that's
exactly why it's the X factor, because he was in and out of the lineup last year.
Right.
And
I mean, he was 17-7 last year. It's not like he was 12 or 13 a game. He was 17-7 last year. He did get busy when he was on the floor, and how much of a positive he was while he was on the floor. I mean, they won some games. The question is, can he stay healthy? He's got a back issue, and as you get older, that back issue it gets worse. I've seen guys who have had back issues. Larry Johnson is one of those guys who had a back issue, and it basically crippled his career, because he could have been a lot better had he not had that injury. Now, again, I talk about Bradley Beal being the X factor. Him and Devin Booker, they both do almost the same thing, only except Devin Booker is a better passer. So when these two dudes are off the floor, when these two dudes are on the floor, it's almost like they cancel each other out. So how are you going to, now when you talk about them being X factors, when you talk about Bradley Beal being an X factor, does that mean that you're going to play Bradley Beal away from Devin Booker? Like Devin Booker's on the bench, Bradley Beal is going to play more? Because when they play together, when they play together, I am taking away from some of Devin Booker's. I'm sorry, I am taking, according to you, I'm going to have to take away from some of Devin Booker's production as a bucket getter. Because you want Bradley Beal to be more of that. So now I'm turning Devin Booker into more of a playmaker and a distributor. That's not his game. He's more of a bucket getter than he's those other things.
But he's probably the best playmaking guy you got in the best starting five you can make if you want Bradley Beal on the floor. And he is an improving playmaker. He's not great, but he's an improving playmaker. But I just pulled it up. Game 4, when they got swept on their home floor to the Minnesota Timberwolves. KD, let's see. I just had it. KD had 33. Booker had 49. Bradley Beal was 4 for 13. They lost by 6. Bradley Beal can just be good. Those are wins in the playoffs. That's
the game he fouled out, right? That's the game he fouled out.
That's a game where he just didn't look in it at all. 4 for 13, 1 for 5 from 3, 9 points, 6 turnovers. Bradley Beal was a disaster in game 4. If he could just be good, that's a 50-win Suns team. Because, again, like I said, if Booker can be a better playmaker and they can move the ball around and not be heavy ISO mid-range jump shot reliant, then they can get the defense on their toes and they got all this movement going around. That's really hard to guard when all 3 of them are cooking on all cylinders. But it's up to Bradley Beal.
All right, fellas. We're going to move on to the next team. Casual mentioned the team getting 50 wins. Well, we're actually going to move on to the team in this division that got 50 wins and finished at the top of the division last year. Before we do that, what's going on, chat? What's going on, people? What's going on, everybody that's watching the video at this moment in time? Make sure you take a second to hit that like button. Make sure you take a second to subscribe, and make sure you take a second to also become a member. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and shout the kids out. We got Cobra Son of Raditz. We got Kendall Daniels. We got Arch. We got Arch Prime. We got GDH DG. We got Hutton Gilgores. And last but certainly not least, we got Multi Kenny. Salute to all these guys because they are Players' Choices Hall of Famers. Wow. All right, let's get into it, y'all. We got the Los Angeles Clippers next. I want you guys to talk to me about these guys. Big Ox. Los Angeles Clippers.
Ox look like he just smelled something bad. Ox look like he just smelled something bad in the house.
Oh, this is the Kings division, bro. He's gonna be biased. This is the Kings division.
What the Kings got to do with the Clippers?
I'm saying you're gonna be biased. That's all.
Biased about what?
All right, bro. How can you not put 2 and 2 together? The Kings are your team.
Because you don't know how I feel about the Clippers. I care more about basketball than the Kings.
Yo, fellas, is this some animosity going on up here?
You like it, don't it? Feel like I owe you.
Nah, just like I'm gonna be biased to the Clippers. Like
this wouldn't have anything to do with.
You think I'm gonna hate on Kawhi Leonard for the Sacramento Kings? Are you crazy? No, I would never do that. It's just unfortunate that the Clippers just aren't what I thought they were gonna be by now. I don't really have anything to say about the Clippers, bro. It's just it's gonna be tough this year. It's gonna be real tough.
So
you don't think they got better?
No, how did they get better, Ron? What are you talking about?
I'm asking you a question. I didn't say they got better. I'm asking you, do you think they got better? You can't put 2 and 2 together?
They did not get better though. I
can put 2 and 2 together, bro. And 2 and 2 is simple. Like, nah, man, they didn't get better. They got KPJ, Derrick Jones Jr. I really like Chris Dunn, but no, they didn't get better. I mean, did James Harden get better during the offseason? Probably not.
Yeah, no, we're working on our game.
Kawhi Leonard's knees probably it's ground beef. You know what I mean? His knee is ground beef, you know. So yeah, I'm not really high on the Clippers. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make the playoffs this year.
Okay.
James Harden has never missed the playoffs in his career. So
the first time for everything. The first time for everything.
He ain't never gonna miss the playoffs, man. You gonna make the
playoffs. I don't want to miss the playoffs. Like I want the Clippers to be the 3 seed, you know, but It's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I don't think Kawhi can play 68 games again like he did. He played 68 or 69 last year.
68.
The most in a while.
68. Yeah, I don't think Kawhi can do that again.
Since the 17th.
You know what, Chill? If they're gonna make the playoffs, you know how they're gonna have to do it, Chill? On the back of Norman Powell. I'm saying, boys. I'm just saying, like it's just ugly over there, man.
Mars, you think it's unfair for him to like they're gonna have to rely on Norman Powell a lot more this season?
Man, James Harden gonna turn back the clock. I don't know why
they're gonna have to rely on James Harden.
James Harden gonna get back to like 28 a game. Yeah, that's what we're gonna get.
If we get 28 a game, James Harden.
Hey, I'm happy. I'm here for it.
I am too. I am 100% here for that. Yo, Ox, I'm so here for 21 or 28 a game, James Harden. If we get 28 a game, James Harden, Mars, I might be looking at a league MVP, James Harden. Because that means the Clippers. That means that the Clippers are much better.
No,
that means that the
it just means he putting on numbers.
You know my thing, Chill. Any team Kawhi Leonard plays for, I'm a fan of that team. I am a fan of the Clippers. I want the Clippers to be great.
You gonna be rooting for James Harden?
I'll be rooting for Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. You know, and so I just don't know how that's gonna work. You know what? However I feel about Paul George, him leaving is a loss. Like that's a loss. It's a significant loss. You know what I'm saying? I might not be the biggest Paul George fan, but I can respect the fact that they needed him. You know what I mean? So it's a wrap. It's a wrap down there in Inglewood.
Swiper, talk to me about the Clippers. Your thoughts and feelings.
James Harden, Terrence Mann, Derrick Jones Jr., Kawhi Leonard, Zubac, Chris Dunn, Norman Powell, Mir Coffey, Batum, Mo Bamba, PJ Tucker.
That's the Clippers.
That's a nice 11.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't say
how nice.
No, I didn't say the other guy that's on the roster, KPJ.
Yeah,
that's 11 playable players. So I think they're going to be better than people think if they're healthy when they're all on the court together.
Mohamed Bamba.
I think 6 to 8 will probably be where they finish, somewhere around there. Do they have a better record than the Lakers in the same city?
No.
Where do we all think that they'll finish in the division?
Who's in this? Golden State.
I don't think they're better than the Lakers. I don't think
Phoenix probably has Phoenix probably is number one in the division. Probably.
I don't think they're better than Sac. They're not better than Phoenix, and they ain't better than the Lakers. So
they're better than Golden State.
Okay, so they finished next to last in the division.
I have this weird feeling that the Clippers are just going to be better than we think. I don't know. Something in me is telling me that this team
is
going to be
this casual.
I'm not saying contender.
I ain't talking about that neither. I'm not talking about
just wants you to say that trash.
I don't want no.
I have this feeling that they are going to be better than what people think. Maybe, like I'm talking about like 6 seed non-playing. They win 47, 40. Something about regular season Kawhi Leonard, if he's healthy. Now, it all depends on...
There it is right there. Ron, this is the chick that just came out of rehab. This is the time. I'm telling you. I just got a feeling, she's going to get it together.
Chill. It's one of the more premier rehabilitation centers in the world, though.
I'm saying what
Kawhi can play 60 games again.
Okay.
He's still a really high-end player. That's a lot of wins right there. 100%. James Harden, last regular season... was really, I still think James Harden in the regular season is still one of the better offensive players in this league. You can get a lot of offense out of James Harden still. I don't think 28, like we were manifesting over there like 5 minutes ago, but you can get any given night 20 and 10 from him. That's pretty good offensive piece to run your offense, set up guys. Ox was talking about it. We kind of laughed at him. Norman Powell. Could you get 15 to 20 for Norman Powell in a given night? Now, are they going to be better than last year? No, because I think losing Paul George is huge. That's two-way. That's 20 points. That's length on the perimeter. But I think they're going to be better than we think. I think some people are out on the Clippers so far as like they're like the 9th, 10th seed. Yep. It wouldn't surprise me, but something in here says they're going to be better than we think.
So just so you know, casual, Leonard had a procedure on his knee, and there's no timetable for him in training camp.
We've heard this before.
And not only have we heard this before, this movie, haven't we seen it before?
Yeah, it's like we're on
how's
like,
it going?
number 9 by now.
Yeah, how's that movie going? Like, even though, and I literally just talked about this, it's that movie that you pop in that you know how it's gonna end, but there's a part of you that wants it to end different. Like, I wanna watch the '98 finals, and I want Malone to see Jordan. I want him to see Jordan behind him, but
It's a good movie, Chill.
He's not going to see him. He doesn't see Jordan.
It's a good movie. It's one of those good movies that you hate the way it ends. It's a good movie. It's like Carlito's Way. It's like Carlito's Way.
I don't want Carlito to die. I don't.
Yeah,
I want him to get on that train, and I want him to go into the sunset. I want him to go into the sunset with homegirl. Only except he doesn't. That doesn't happen.
But it's a hell of a movie.
And how many times? But even if it is, Ox, you know how many times I watched that movie and it still ends the same way. It still ends this, even though I want him to get on that train. I want him to get on that train with that woman, and I want him to go off into the sunset because he cleaned up and he got better. Sorry,
it's like set it off. You think I want to see Vivica get gunned down?
I don't. I want her to get on that bus with Jada and go. I do. I want her to get on the bus with Jada. But,
hell of a movie.
And it's the same logic. It's the same thing going on here. The same logic. I've seen this movie with Kawhi Leonard, and I so want this to be different. I want Kawhi Leonard to be 27 a game. I want the Clippers to be at the top of the Western Conference. I want to see them in the NBA Finals, to be quite honest.
Well, they're not with this roster.
I do want that to happen. Only except I've seen this movie more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times, and it doesn't end like I hope it's going to end. I could reserve myself to that ideology if this was only one time. Ox, we're going into year 6, yo. We're in year 6. How many times do you have to hear from me tomorrow? How many times you going to hear that from me? As much as I love Kawhi Leonard's game, how awesome he is as a mid-range shooter, as a defender, the same theme keeps coming up. He had a procedure. We're taking this thing. We're taking this thing slow. We're moving him along slow. And ultimately, it's the same ending to this movie. I can't get on board with the Clippers. The Clippers aren't making the playoffs this year. They're not. I don't think the Clippers are making the playoffs.
I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked by that too. What do you mean, like play in, or are they outside?
No, the Clippers are not making the playoffs.
They're like 11 seed or losing playing.
They're on the outside looking in.
Someone's got to come 11th.
Come playoff time, the Clippers are going to be on the outside looking in.
All right, Mars, I would like to know your thoughts on the Los Angeles Clippers.
I don't think any of the teams in this division are bad. I think so. I'm not gonna say anything. Like, they might miss the playoffs, but I don't think that's because they're bad. I think the West just has 11 good teams, and they might be the 11th. Like, it's just the West is crazy. But I think they have the pieces to be competitive, but it does come down to the what if of Kawhi's health, which is a major. It's not. I don't even think it's a what if at this point. It's just you're lucky if he's healthy. I don't even like. It's not even a what if he's healthy. It's like he's probably not going to be healthy, but if he is healthy, you got lucky. Like, that's what it probably is right now with Kawhi. So if they get lucky and he is healthy, he's probably not going to be healthy from week 1. But like, if you get him November, December, and he can give you 50, 55 games.
What's their record when he's healthy?
In the games he plays?
Like 35 and 20, or like you think more 40 and 15-ish?
Before you answer that, Mars, what's the over-under on Leonard this season? 24-25 season, 50 games. What's the over-under?
Over. 50's
I think 50's a good line, to be fair.
50's a low bar.
For Kawhi, I think that's the perfect
56. I put it at 56.
I'd probably put him slightly above. I'd probably give him 54-ish games.
You want to make a PC bet for 56?
I'm not going to bet on another man's health. I'm just
Kawhi has never played less than 50 games for the Clippers, not counting that season where he didn't play at all.
Yeah, if you take out the year he just didn't play.
50's a pretty low bar. I would set that at like 55. And then
I got him about 54-ish games, but
54 and a half.
In those games, I think the Clippers will be like 39 and 15, something like that. Like, I think that'll be really good.
I'm gonna put it at 66, and I think they'll go around 40 and 26 in those games.
66. Now, if he
plays 66 games, This team is definitely making the playoffs. If Kawhi is playing 66 games,
I don't know about definitely.
Arch just tapped in with $100 super chat, and this is simply what he had to say, ladies and gentlemen. Arch said, "OG, like it or not, injured Kawhi better than Tatum, and if injured Kawhi was on the Celtics, he would do better than Tatum."
I just watched injured Kawhi try play in the playoffs.
I'm telling y'all, this is how you know it's Bam. It was a random shot at a Celtic. A random shot at a Celtic.
That is a nasty comment.
Nah, I've watched injured Kawhi try play in the playoffs. That man couldn't move. I'm sorry.
Give me
Healthy
in
Kawhi.
the playoffs. I'm like, injured.
Yeah, I watched injured Kawhi. Yeah.
He said,
Chill. Would you take?
This year he tried to play.
Would you take healthy Kawhi in the playoffs?
$100.
would I take healthy Kawhi in the playoffs?
Mhm.
Which healthy Kawhi? Because he is older now.
Let's just say 23. If he would,
23. Kawhi, when he's fully healthy, you know what he's capable of.
I do know what he's capable of.
That Kawhi, would you take him over your guy?
I'll take him over a bunch of guys, not just my guy.
But is one of them your guy?
Yes.
Okay,
Let's go.
that's the
You
question.
see, yeah, man, Chill's a fair guy,
Mm-hmm.
as you'll find out. Not always, but you know.
Just remember what did we see just 2 years ago? Just 2 years ago when they played was it Phoenix. They played Phoenix. He looked like he was going to be the best player in the playoffs. He didn't look like the best player on the Clippers. He looked like he could be the best player in the playoffs. Then what happened? That was it. That was all I got. I got out of the gas station and I got on the road and past one exit and the tire blew.
All right, y'all. Well, this is the thing that me personally, I'm most looking forward to from the Clippers. It's not the players. It's not Bones Highland minutes off the bench. It's not whoever else is over there. Kawhi Leonard's health, whether James Harden can get back to old James Harden. It's actually the new arena that they'll be playing in next year.
Look at that.
Let's go ahead and watch this video. You guys let me know if you can hear the sound, and we're going to learn a lot about the new Clipper Stadium, the best stadium in the NBA, potentially the world.
Can you maximize it?
The best stadium in the NBA is the Golden One Center, Ronnie. You know that. Stop playing.
We can't hear anything.
Were we meant to hear something?
Yeah,
No.
he said, let us know we can hear the audio. We can't hear
to
anything.
34,000
There we go.
square foot screen.
Oh,
But it's
wow.
not the size that's impressive, it's the actual features that make this so unique. Like this animation to show the casual fan who just scored for their team, these in-game charts and stats, which they call the coach's corner, and of course you can't forget about the Steve Ballmer cam. But the one thing that's guaranteed to blow you away is what they call Player 360, showing every single stat you need to know about the player, including their shoe size. I mean, this has to look insane in person. But of course the Halo board doesn't end there. There's a built-in t-shirt cannon, that way every single fan has a chance at leading with a free t-shirt. And if you're sad that you didn't get a shirt, the sensors under your chair will detect whether or not you're the loudest fan in the arena, and if you are, you'll get rewarded for it. Oh, and as if it couldn't get any more immersive, each seat has buttons on it, that way you can play games on the Halo board. I think it's safe to say Steve Ballmer and the Clippers have absolutely outdone themselves with this new arena, and I cannot wait to visit myself.
This
Yo,
is
they
why
about
you
to
signed.
make so much money.
I was just about to
off
say
that
that,
stadium.
Swiper. This is why you signed Kawhi Leonard to an extension because we
Not
can't
just
open.
basketball. I'm
Right.
talking about concerts and stuff.
Oh,
You
I'm
know,
sure, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine how live that's going to be for
Yes.
like having a whole, like, you know, doing a
Mhm.
tour there or something like that,
Mhm.
especially for the Swifties or for the Beehive or something like that?
Mhm.
Yo, it's
Open
going to
smoke
go
doors,
crazy.
stuff like that.
That-
Sure.
that's- That arena would be so much more cool if they had like one rafter up there, one banner. I didn't see any up there. Tough.
But that's why you signed Kawhi Leonard, and that's why you signed Kawhi Leonard, and that's why you don't trade James Harden because we're opening up this new building. Who are we introducing? Opening up this new arena. John's man. Who? What? Norman Powell. That's who we introducing. That's who we introducing. Mars. No.
That's Devin Booker with less
Oh,
opportunity.
it's Highland, bro.
Mhm.
That's what the new arena's for.
That's why. And that's exactly why you sign those guys. And even if I only get Leonard for 45 or 50 games, if I get Leonard for 50 to 55 games, this is why. Because people are going to come to that arena. Now, to your point, Swiper, you know, we may get more venues than the Staples Center. I'm sorry, I keep calling it the Staples Center. It's not the Staples Center anymore. What is it called now?
Crypto.com.
The crypto.com arena. So we might get more people to come here than they do at the crypto for other shows. I ain't talking about the Lakers or the Clippers. No, I'm talking about other things like, you know, rap concerts, Taylor Swift is in town. She might come to this building instead of the Staples Center.
Nah, Taylor Swift would go to the Chargers.
I keep calling it the Staples.
What's the
yes,
SoFi.
100%,
They'll go to
She-
SoFi for
Yeah,
a
she's doing
basketball
football
game.
Chargers
arenas.
Stadium is
I'm
crazy.
sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's doing
we
football
too
arenas.
big time for basketball.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
what-
she's unloyal if she does a concert at that.
Yeah, she's
stadium.
doing football arenas. I'm bugging.
And you
should
know,
only-
who would do
should only
that?
be Arrowhead.
You know who would do that? The GOAT, Adele, because she has very intimate concerts. That'd be great. She would walk through the crowds. Taylor ain't walking through no crowds.
Which is
Bougie.
kind of interesting that I don't hear Mars talk about Adele as much, being English. I thought that you might
What's
dig
that
her.
got to do with me?
Because you're from there, that's why.
Okay, first of all, allegedly.
No.
Second of all, I
Allegedly.
don't care. Like, I don't care if someone's from a country that I may also be from. Like, what's that? I don't care.
And she's dope too, on top of that.
There's
She a
also
way
criminals from my
better- way
country. I'm
better
meant to be
singer.
like, oh well,
Yeah.
they're from my country. Like, no,
Way
I don't
better
care.
singer.
And she's dope too, on top of
Fellas, I gotta ask: is it anybody other than Chill up here that believes that the Clippers won't make the playoffs? Yes or no?
I think
Will?
it's possible. I think
Won't
it's
make the
possible they
playoffs.
would. I think it's possible they
I
would.
need definitive answers. Is there
they'll be in the
anybody up
plan.
here that's standing with Chill or
They'll be in
Chill
the
by
plan.
himself?
It's not unlikely. There's going to be just like last year, but worse, given that everyone stays healthy because the Rockets are going to be better. The Grizzlies are going to be better.
Rockets.
The
Sacramento's
Spurs are
gonna be
probably
better.
going to win 30 games, but Wemby's just going to be Wemby. There's going to be some good teams that
Sacramento's
aren't even
gonna
going
be
to
better.
sniff the play-in.
Mhm.
If everyone's
Well,
healthy, of course.
Well, Mars, you just mentioned it, Mars. I mean, there are 11 teams. Sacramento and Golden State missed the playoffs last year. They won 46 games. That ain't enough to get in the playoffs.
Someone's going to miss
46
it, but
games.
45 games. Someone's
That could
gonna
happen.
miss
Yeah,
it.
that's what I'm saying.
45 games.
That's why I said,
43.
even if they
Someone's
miss the
gonna miss
playoffs, I don't think they're a bad team.
Who's
The only teams in
definitively-
the West that I think are bad are the Blazers, the Spurs, and the Jazz.
Hey, get the Spurs.
And the
out
Jazz
of
might
there.
not be bad.
Spurs
Get
aren't
the
that
Spurs
good.
out of there.
Spurs
Give me the definitive teams in the West that are definitively better, Ron, than the Clippers. Definitively,
Definitely better.
yes,
In the regular season?
yeah, Ron, like better. You know for sure.
Then the Clippers,
Yes,
Grizzlies,
Yeah.
Kings,
You lost me.
Kings.
Pelicans.
You lost
What?
me again.
that's
Suns.
definitive.
The Pelicans aren't definitively better than the,
They
than
could
the
be
Clippers.
better. No, they could be better.
No,
but what Swipe is saying
I don't
is
know
like
if we know what the word
100%
definitively
better.
Like,
means.
like
or
not even a
100%.
conversation.
Yeah, these teams I think are
Ron-
much better than the Clippers.
Ron,
Yeah,
that means definitely like there's no question.
I don't think the Pelicans
you can
are
sit there and say that the Pelicans are definitely
I figured
better
you start
than the
towards the
Clippers.
top of the
If
conference.
that's the case, then it's three
Yeah,
teams.
No, let's go with the
I
Nuggets.
think that was the point Swiper was trying to make.
That's the point he's trying to make, Ron.
There's
so
not
again,
many teams
from,
that are definitively
from-
better
from-
than the others in the West. That's
from
what
the
I'm trying
top,
to say.
from the top, Ron, who you got?
So from the top, if you're talking about just
Definitely
night and day better,
Yeah,
Definitely
like
better.
no
Definitely
conversation. You got
Definitely better.
OKC, Denver, Wolves, and that's where I draw the line.
Dallas.
I don't think they're definitively better than if
Okay,
I
so
can't
three.
if I
So
can't say
three
the
teams.
Suns, if I can't say the Pelicans, then no.
So
Dallas
three
isn't in there.
teams. Okay.
I
Other
think
than
until
you
the-
leaving
I-
out the Rockets, I agree.
I think
No,
until the regular season.
Anyway, so
I
he
think
has
the
three teams. So that means
are
they should be.
still
They're
in
going to be in the
that tier.
playoff hunt all year. Then, Ron.
Well, yeah, they're going to be in the hunt,
Like, I mean, but for a top 4 or 5 seed.
but 12 teams are going to be in the hunt.
So you think? Oh, I'm saying, well, with Ron, like you think there's going to be everybody except for the top 3. Everybody else is going to be everyone else except for the Spurs, the Rockets, and the Blazers are going to be fighting for playoff spots.
Well, Swiper, how about this? How about me? Let me ask you this: it just in the division alone, Lakers, Clippers, Warriors, Suns, Kings. Who of those five? Who of those 5 teams? 4 of them. Which one of those 4 are definitely better?
Suns, Lakers, Clippers, Kings, and Warriors.
Yes,
Definitely is
definitely better than the Clippers.
Definitely.
Definitely, I think Sacramento is definitely better than the Clippers.
I don't think they're definitely
I
better
do.
than the Clippers.
I think they definitely are. I don't think the Warriors are.
Zubac
definitely better
and
than-
Anthony Davis. I think Zubac will love playing against Sabonis personally.
Mhm.
Definitely
Definitely.
the Suns, maybe.
I think we're forgetting this team has Kawhi Leonard and James Harden.
Yeah, that's
Again,
what I'm trying to say, bro.
From
Like
top
they're
to
gonna be.
bottom, is this roster like
Casual, that's
crazy?
my problem though.
But
Y'all know
James
how I feel
Harden,
about James
Kawhi
Harden, so I
Leonard,
don't have to.
that is-
I don't have to get into that.
that is
I mean, you
That
cannot
two-
like him and still
those two
acknowledge that
alone,
he impacts.
it's
He impacts
35
regular
wins.
season.
Well, yeah, but
minimum from 2
that-
players.
Morris, that's my problem.
So,
It's
so
his
wait, hold on,
impact.
Ron. Hold on, Ron.
It
Casual.
wanes.
Not in the regular season.
So casual. Just them 2 players alone, I'm gonna get 35 wins from them 2.
Depends on the fast suit.
Those teams,
Okay.
Kawhi Leonard is still a borderline top 10 player when he's healthy. Kawhi Leonard can get you anywhere from 25 to 30 a night. That's
So
Kawhi Leonard.
okay, casual. We got to stop with the when he's healthy. We're in year 6. He's
Well, I
missed
mean,
the
he was
playoffs.
pretty healthy last year. I just have to preface
Okay,
when
and
he's
that's the
healthy.
first time that he's played over. That's the first time he's played over 60 games since the 16-17 season. That was almost 8 years ago. That's number one. Number two, we got to stop with this when he's healthy thing. Okay, and I know we're talking about the regular season, right? So let's just stick with the regular season. He's played 52 games, right?
57.
52, 57, 68. All right, so I think on average that's close to. I think on average that's about 55 games. Yeah. That's on average about 55 games. So if I'm penciling in Kawhi Leonard for 55 games, right?
Yeah.
And how many games am I going to get out of James Harden this year? 60.
Oh,
Yeah, you can get like 70 games.
70. Yeah.
70.
Okay, so I'll get 70 games from Harden. I'll get
That's a
55
lot.
from Leonard.
That's
And
a lot, chill.
I'm not arguing that. That part I'm not arguing.
It's about
Those
50
guys-
games where they're both on the court together.
Yes,
That's good.
okay.
So chill and say they play 48 games together. Would it be crazy if they went 30? Well, 35.
Let's say 50. Let's keep the number at around 50. If they play 50 games together,
35
They
and
can
15.
go. They can go. I'd give them like 39 and 11, depending on the schedule.
Mars. If them dudes play,
And they're together.
right? That's what I'm talking about. If they win almost 40
With
out of
Chris
50
Dunn?
games, that's almost 80% of their games.
With
Yeah,
Derrick
yeah,
Jones
yeah.
Jr. and Chris
Well, then you
Dunn.
have to add in the games where Kawhi just doesn't play, and they're going to lose most of those. So you got it. And then Harden might have like a couple games in there where without Kawhi, he turns back the clock, drops 40, and they win like one or two of those. But
I think 35 and 15 is a fair number. And if the whole team is healthy in those games, yeah, they could destroy.
All they have to do is win 15 of the other 30. To get
So
50
we beat the
wins.
Spurs 4 times or 3 times. Beat the Rockets at least 3 times. Beat the
You're
Blazers
just gonna
4
keep letting them
times.
get this nonsense talk about Rockets.
Beat the Warriors 3 times. What is that? That's
They're
6,
not
7,
beating the
15,
Rockets
16
3
wins
times.
right there.
I ain't buying that.
Yeah, I don't know. He just keep trying to hate on the Rockets, like just
It's not hating. I'm putting the worst teams at the conference. I just named all 4 of them.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Why?
So-
Anyway,
Because you said the
Move on.
Rockets and haven't brought up Utah. That's disgusting.
I forget about Utah. So add them in. That's
no,
4 more wins. That's
bullshit.
20
He
wins.
just believes that Utah's better than the Rockets.
No, I
Mars,
don't.
ain't
No, I
nothing wrong
don't.
with
No, I
that.
don't. That's 20
It's
wins right there between all 5 of those teams.
Well, they're
So
gonna
we're looking
drop
at
games. They're gonna
so we're
drop
looking at
games.
so we're looking at a 55 win team.
No, I'm saying they're not going to win a lot of other games. They're going to be 50-50 versus everybody else. I think versus those teams, they can win 80% of those games. They get 16, 18 wins out of that. And next thing you know, versus the rest of the West, and then chill. They got to play Detroit twice, 2 wins.
Right.
Then they're going to have to play
Washington.
Charlotte twice. That's 2 wins, maybe. And then
Washington.
Washington, that's 6. Think about it. If you win the Eastern Conference, that's what I'm saying, chill. Man, he sucks. Because you could just walk down all these teams, get all these soft wins, and then next thing you know, you just exactly Brooklyn, Atlanta. Think about it. They could beat all chill. Would you be surprised? Washington, Blazers, Detroit, Brooklyn, Atlanta, and then who else is in the Utah? And then there's one more, Mars, not the Rockets.
Charlotte.
Charlotte. That
San
right
Antonio.
there.
San Antonio.
That right there.
So
That's what I'm saying.
I would be surprised if they swept those guys. Right. I would be. I would, because again, we're talking about playing Washington on the back end of 6 games in 9 nights. We're talking about playing Brooklyn in our building, because I watched Atlanta come into their building last year with no Trae Young and smoked them. Smoked them with Leonard on the floor and Paul George on the floor and James Harden on the floor. So I watched Atlanta go into their building and smoke them.
Didn't they beat the Celtics with no Kawhi?
Fellas, I'm about to step in because we got to move on to the next team. Shout out to the Clippers, or maybe not. But we're going to get into some super chats. Once again, you guys make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you become a member. And we're going to keep this thing going in the Pacific Division. We already talked about the Suns. We just talked about the Clippers. Next, we are going to move on to super chats. Western 742 sent through a members chat. It was real definitive. That was the word, Mars, that you used. Definitively better. He just said dub host Ron. Slitherman said better peak. 2000, 2001 Vince Carter, or 2010, 2011 Derrick Rose. And don't be an accolade merchant. Who had the better peak?
Vince Carter's warp was higher.
W Warp.
So I'm gonna just rock with a VORP.
Casual.
Yeah. He said don't use accolades. Damn.
So use VORP.
I'll go Derrick Rose. I'll go Derrick Rose.
Okay. Chill.
What did I
01
miss?
Vince or 11 Derrick Rose?
I'll take Vince Carter.
Swiper.
I'll take Derek.
Okay. Lowe's left butt cheek said, can Tatum ever win a MVP? I think any chance he had is pretty much over now, considering the comp.
He can.
I don't think it's over.
Is he going to win one?
Probably not.
I don't think so. But can he get close again? Yes, I do think he can get close.
What's the highest he finished? Fourth?
Fourth.
Fourth.
That counts as close.
22.
I guess.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, Mars. Top 5 in league MVP votes is close. As a top 5, finishing top 5 is close. Even though,
Well, do you need a first place vote? So how many? Don't you need something?
Oh no, yeah, we just have a different definition of close.
He's
I guess.
26. He's 26 years old. Going to be on a team that's going to win 60 to 65 games as long as they're intact. He has a chance.
I agree.
I think he's going to be in the conversation, but I think he's going to get close again. I don't think he's going to win it though.
I don't think he'll ever win it because he'll
So
never
he was
be.
he
man.
was close because he was 300 and how many points is that? About
37, I
300
think. 337.
336 points
Mhm.
away from third place. That's close.
Finish in the
Because he
top
came fourth.
5. Yeah, you finished in the top 5.
So Shea was close because he was 570 points away from third. That was close
Yes.
because he came fifth. I just
Mhm.
don't understand.
You and I have a different definition of close because I might not be close to Joker winning it, but I'm way further. I'm sorry, Embiid, but I'm way further than all the rest of these dudes.
Jason Tatum was closer to Ja Morant, who got 1 point, than he was to Joel Embiid.
Why is Ja Morant even in this conversation? Which he shouldn't even
Ja
be.
Morant
in
got 1 MVP point, which means someone voted him.
That was the year the Grizzlies were the 2
There was
seed.
there was a larger gap between first place and Jason Tatum than there was between Jason Tatum and Ja Morant with 1 point.
Right, and this
Jason Tatum was closer to Killian Hayes in terms of points won for MVP
and Mars,
than he was to
this,
Joel Embiid.
but Mars, you're the same one who just said to me, I believe it was like 2 weeks ago, when Sabonis got a Defensive Player of the Year vote. He's closer to whomever else was in that conversation than he was to who won the Defensive Player of the Year. Give me a break, Mars.
I just don't understand how you can be close when you're nowhere near winning it.
Because you're in the point I'm making is that when you're in the conversation, when you're top 5 and you're much further away from the rest of the competition, I don't think that anybody really believed it. This was in 2000. This was in 23. I don't think that there was anybody that thought that Ja Morant. I'm not gonna say anybody. I don't think that there was anybody who thought that Ja Morant could really win the league MVP. Jason Tatum, on the other hand, there was motion there. There was action.
Well, 0 people voted for him for it.
0 people voted for him
to actually win the MVP.
But
0 people had him as their MVP.
But he was in the conversation, though. That's what Chill's trying to say.
And was there any second place votes for him, Mars? Yes or no? Was there any second place votes for him?
Now I have to pull up the voting. I don't know.
Of course, no one was going to give him a first place vote.
Right. Nobody gave him a first place vote.
So then he wasn't close to winning.
Yeah, I get what Mars is trying to say. Is he wasn't that close if he has like 1 first place vote. It's not.
But I was closer than everybody.
He had 0 first place votes.
Right. No first place votes. I'm not with Mars's ideology that because I don't have any first place votes that, okay, you shouldn't even be in a conversation unless you're right next to this dude. Okay, if I run 100-yard dash and, okay, you beat me, I finished second, I finished third, but you beat me by a second, that doesn't mean I was further away from the rest of these dudes than I was to you.
He had no second place votes. He had no third place. Oh, he had 1 third place vote. That means he was close.
A lot of 4th and 5th place votes.
The only person who voted him third is who is this? Bear with me. The only person who voted him third was what is this guy's name?
A Celtic.
Oh, it was Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson voted him third, and that was the year where he wrote the apology for dismissing Jokic. If anyone remembers,
he left him
he
off.
didn't have Jokic in his top 5.
Yeah,
The only person who had Jason Tatum third issued an apology about his ballot. So how?
Because he wrote his All NBA team in his MVP ballot.
So how can this man be close? He got 1 third place vote, and the only person who voted him third apologized for it.
That was such a crazy year.
Like he wasn't like, if I race Usain Bolt, it's a 9-person race, and somehow I come 5th, but Usain Bolt beats me by 9 seconds.
No,
was I close?
Yeah, a 0.3 loss to Usain Bolt is a long time.
I said 9 seconds.
I know, but that's never going to happen. I'm saying, but a 0.3 is a real, like a 0.3 on a television screen, Marge, is like, it's
a substantial gap, yeah.
But it's close.
But Jason Tatum,
I'm closer than everybody else, though. I'm in the top 5. I'm closer, and not only am I in the top 5, I'm in the conversation. I'm probably not going to win it, which we've already decided that's going to happen.
But Chill wasn't close.
He's not.
We can go back to the conversation when we was having the MVP conversation in 23. We can all be serious. No one was bringing up Jason Tatum's name. It was Jokic,
they were.
And I didn't say that he was going. I didn't say that he was going
to.
Okay, now what you're doing, Moses, you're turning this into something else. I didn't say that he was going to win it. The fact that he was in the top 5 is closer to winning it than
someone has to be in the top.
I feel like
that's the point, Mars.
That doesn't mean
that's the point.
They give you
Tatum was getting love this year, though.
Right. That's the point, Mars.
How many votes did he get this year, Mars?
I think he was 5th.
A lot of people were talking about Tatum as MVP.
This year he came 6th.
Yeah, he behind Brunson.
He was 6?
Behind Brunson. Yeah.
Throughout the season, though, Brunson came on heavy at the
They
end.
had the 1 week where they were pushing Jason Tatum MVP prop.
Yeah,
and that died very quick because they
ESPN.
realized
It wasn't long. No, it wasn't. I get that. Sure, I definitely get that.
Was Jalen Brunson close to being the MVP this year because he came 5th?
He was closer than he was. He was closer than he was the year before.
Closer doesn't mean close.
Yes, it does. What are you talking about, Mars? Just because
if I was 5'3" and I grow to 5'5", me getting taller doesn't mean I'm now tall.
You're still closer though. You're
No,
closer than
I'm
what you were
taller.
last
That
year.
doesn't mean
What are
I'm
you
tall.
talking about?
Yeah, Jason Tatum was closer
Taller,
than Ja Morant.
which means closer.
Jason Tatum was closer to being the MVP than Ja Morant. That doesn't mean he was close to being the MVP. The US is closer to Australia than the UK. That doesn't mean it's close.
It's still closer though. It's still close.
That doesn't mean it's close. It's still not close.
All right, y'all. We about to move on. We about to
Ron,
move on. What's
Ron,
up?
by the way, that Shohei Ohtani ball is going up for a starting bid at $500,000, but you can purchase immediately for $4.5 million.
That's the starting
$4.5
price.
million.
The starting
It's
price is
500,000, but you can purchase it immediately if you give up 4.5.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Money,
Shout
Ron.
out Shohei. Multi Kenny said counting down to Arch on Hall of Fame Friday. Yo, Arch, what you waiting for? Halloween? Thanksgiving?
Come through, brother.
Chinese New Year?
Come through.
What you waiting for, Arch?
But here's
We
the
waiting
problem,
for you to pull up.
Here's the problem, though, Ron. It's Bam. He ain't got time. Training camp open in a couple of days. So,
Well, you got to get in before training camp.
yeah, training camp open in a couple
Chill,
of
you
days.
know how badly I want this to be, man. I don't know if I wanted anything more on PC since I've been there.
Also, GDH I seen you in the chat. You asked how do you get up for Hall of Fame Friday? Yo, my man, just hit up one of the Players Choice accounts, or you can expedite that process by hitting me up immediately on Instagram. My handle is laron.com. Shoot me a DM. I'll make sure you get up here in a jiffy. Or what you can do is just join the Players Choice group chat that's pinned at the top of the chat. And in there, it's me, Mars, Swiper, Ox, Chill, and everybody else that's on the Players Choice platform.
Yep.
We have a group chat where we're constantly debating and talking about all type of things that I won't mention here on the show, but good conversations. You can always join that, reach out to one of us, and we'll make sure that you get on the show.
By the way, Ron, you know how much money, just for perspective, how much money NBA players have? I've heard stories of people spending $200,000 just on a trip, like just going somewhere, blowout money for just family and all that stuff. That's a game check, Ron. A game check.
You my cousin, like on my mama's side or on my daddy's side?
Just so you know, the per diem. This was in the 90s and in the 2000s. The per diem was an envelope, and that could be $1,100 in cash.
Just cause. If you in case you need food, a business per diem.
All right, y'all. Let's get into it.
Mm-hmm.
The next team Hello, Big Ox.
If Arch,
Your timing is impeccable.
Interesting you show up right now.
hey, Swipe, if Arch's band telling me he can keep that damn money.
Why are you mad at
I
him
don't-
for
I-
Asia, bro? Asia found love. She found
If
love.
you love her, Ox, let her go, man. If you love her,
What was
let
you
her
saying?
go.
Real
Ox.
love.
Obviously, Bam did something. He's 27-12. Who she learned that from?
Ox, if you love her, let her go, man. Let her
Ox,
go, yo. Don't
Ox,
be
if
that
it
dude.
was you,
Don't be that dude, please.
if it was you, she would probably average a few more rebounds. Shooting percentage would be around 35.
Could she be stressed?
Free throws, and she'd be out there airballing free throws. They
Could she
wouldn't
be
be in the
stressed?
playoffs. So, like, just be happy
Ox,
for her.
Ain't you already with Sabrina Ionescu or something?
Bro, can we keep moving, please?
Hey, can I address something really quickly? I never said that, my man. So let's get to the bottom of that. I used it as a reference. I never said why. There is no chick that I've ever been around that I said, yo, why him, not me? I used it as a reference. So get your story straight when you talk about me. There's already a dude in the chat that's about ready to flame your ass every time he talk to you. So you better stop talking to me, B. That's who you better stop talking to. You better stop talking to me because there's a dude in the chat that's already after your ass. So you better get your story straight when you talk about me.
Run for your life.
This dude always talking about me like I'm a square or something like that. I can tell you right now, when I was younger, you didn't stand a chance with me. So whoever you with, you better cuff her. Because I can tell you right now, if she leave with me, you'll never see her again. You will never see her again.
I didn't see things turning in that direction, but since we're here, everybody, if you
talking about
do,
me like I'm a square or something like that. This dude is a straight goofy. He got no idea who he dealing with when he deal with me. None whatsoever.
if you do have a chick on your arms, love her dearly, spoil her with affection, and do what you got to do to keep her on your arms, because it may be a guy that's cold that'll come along and take her. So enjoy her while you have her, fellas. All right. Lesson of the day. Now we're moving on to the Sacramento Kings.
Oh, is that where we're going?
It's interesting that you just popped up, Ox. What a coincidence, Ox, that you just popped up.
Up to the Arco Arena. Let's talk about him. Ox, I'll get to you in a second. Casual. I would like to know how you feel about the Sacramento Kings.
What am I supposed to feel about them? They're good. They added DeMar DeRozan. I just don't think they're like they could end up where they were last year, or they can end up where they were the year before. I think, or they'll probably be somewhere in the middle. They're a good team. They always give the Lakers problems. As long as you have De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, those are wins in the regular season. De'Aaron Fox is quick. They got speedsters on the perimeter that give defenders a hard time. They got some solid shooters out there. It would be interesting to see how I don't want to do another X Factor debate again because we spent 20 minutes on X Factors for the Phoenix Suns. But I can't help but say DeMar DeRozan is definitely the X Factor for this team. It all comes down to DeMar DeRozan. If DeMar DeRozan is 20, if he can still keep up his game, doesn't show signs of regressions, could hit some jump shots because he's going to need to hit some jumpers in this offense, this team could be pretty good. This team could be not a contender. I don't see a contender in this team, but I think they make the playoffs this time around. Or at least, yeah, they probably make the playoffs this time around.
Where do you think they finish in the division?
Oh, I don't think they're better than the Lakers. I also don't think they're better than the Suns. They're right there with the Warriors and Clippers. And if I had to pick, who do I trust? Kind of trust the Clippers more. But, yeah. I kind of I'll say fourth. This is a tough division. That fifth team is going to be really good. But I probably have the Warriors finishing fifth. So I'll get the Kings fourth.
Hey, one fam, the only hose you got are garden tools. Shut up. Stop talking to me. Go get your father. Don't talk to me.
Mars, Kings. Talk to me, Mars. Who do you got?
Who do I got what?
Well, where do you got them? How do you feel about them?
I think if they're healthy, they're gonna be a good team. I don't know what that starting lineup's gonna look like or anything. Other than Fox, DeMar. Well, I know 4 of their stars. De'Aaron, Keegan, DeMar, and DeMontis. I don't know if Kevin Herter or Keon Ellis is going to be the other starter. I'm hoping it's Keon Ellis, but I don't know. I think the Kings are going to be a very good team, particularly in the regular season if they're healthy. I have them in the play-in / playoffs. I don't know, 6 through 8 somewhere probably. Maybe 5 through 8. I can see them being a 5 seed. Yeah, if there's injuries, I can see them being like a 3 through 8 ish, depending on health of other teams. In
3 through 8.
Yeah, if teams get hurt, I can see them being
gap.
a 3. Yeah,
That's exactly what I said.
In the West, that might be like a 3-game gap for all. Like,
No, understandable. So what's more surprising for you? You know the question I'm going to ask. Them going higher than the 3 or lower than the 8?
I'd be more surprised if they were a top 2 seed.
I would be more surprised.
Okay.
Let's not forget, like 4 through like 7 in the West last year were separated by like half a game. So if you go on like a 3-game win streak, you're the 3rd seed in the West. But if you go on like a 2-game losing streak, you're the 8th seed.
In a week, you can go from hosting the playoff series to being in the play-in tournament. That could happen.
Like, I know it sounds big, Ron.
Yes,
like, oh, you could be the
100%
3 seed or the 8th seed, but the West was separated from like, I think it stopped like 4th seed for like the 8. Every team was 45 to 47 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's separated like half.
The West is, and now you're adding hopefully an improved Rockets team plus a healthy Grizzlies team to that mix. It's just the West is stupid. So yeah, I can see them being a 3 through 8. In the postseason, I have more concerns just about like Domantas Sabonis defense, DeMar DeRozan defense. Interested to see what Mike Brown does with his spacing and how he uses Keon Ellis, because I think Keon Ellis has to be out there. I don't think he's their best defender at the point of attack. No disrespect to Keegan, I think he's more of a wing versatile defender. I think at the point of attack, Keon Ellis is their best defender. So I think he has to be out there. So there's questions, but in the regular season, I think they'll be good enough to win 48, 53 games. So that's where I have them. Very good regular season team, more questions in the playoffs. But I have them making the playoffs relatively comfortably, but in the playoffs.
Chill.
So last year, they were around that 5 to 8 seed. And they were pretty comfortable in that space
for majority of the season.
And in the last 10 games of the season, they lose Monk. That was the deciding factor, because I mean, anybody that knows 10 games, that's a month, and to lose a guy who I thought was the best rotation player in the game, to lose him for a month, that was huge. And then to lose Herter too, that was even bigger. So to lose those guys and to end up falling out of the playoffs, that was a team that was on their way to winning 50+ games and being a solid playoff team. I don't doubt that at all. But now, Monk hasn't really had any health issues. Herter hasn't had health issues in the past neither. So I'm going to go off of what I've seen in these guys being relatively healthy. And the fact that De'Aaron Fox has been playing at an all-league defensive level, I think he's a top 5 top 5 league guard in the game. With that, I think Keegan Murray has an even better season this year. I think DeMar DeRozan helps. I don't think he's going to be the 24, 25 a game guy that he was in the past, but I do think that he helps. I think a lot of it has to do with health with this team. Guys like Trey Lyles staying healthy, rotation players like Trey Lyles staying healthy, and this kid Ellis, I think that he steps into the lineup, and I think that he gives them, after a year of being what he was, I think he gives them even more production. Just from a defensive standpoint, I could see this team winning 50+ games and being a top 5, top 6 seed. I could see that happening.
Okay. Swiper, you there?
Nope.
All right. So
yeah, I'm right here.
All right. Who is that? You just follow Vlade Divac?
No, should I go to the Maxwell?
Is that Luke
concert?
Walton?
Should I go to the Maxwell concert tonight?
Yes.
Why not?
Yes. Take your chick too.
Well, it's raining, bro. It's been hurricane season, bro. I ain't trying to go nowhere. But I said this, whatever. Kings. Man, they got DeMar to pull up. I mean, they're gonna be great in the late game situation. Every time DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Fox, Sabonis, they got a nice squad. Keon Ellis, they got a real nice squad. I think they can finish first in their division. Matter of fact, I think they will finish first in their division. I'm standing on business. I think they're a fifth or sixth seed. Fifth or sixth.
I can see it.
And then, but then in the playoffs they're going to play like Dallas or something, and then they're going to get washed. But I think
as long as they don't have to play New Orleans, Ox is straight.
Man, New Orleans ain't even got a big no more. They'll be all right.
No, they don't. So we already know.
If I was the Kings, I wouldn't be scared of LA at all. Like AD has never beaten.
I was about to say that since they
but DeMar DeRozan can't beat LeBron, so it cancels each other out.
It does get a little tricky, Mars. Yes, it does.
Unstoppable force versus immovable object.
Exactly. That's what we've got right now. Which curse will prevail? That's where we're at right now.
Which is kind of interesting too, Mars, because if I'm not mistaken, since AD got there, I think they beat the Kings once with AD in the lineup. If I'm not mistaken, something like that.
A lot of it has to do with the fact that they're just so fast on the perimeter, and our guys just can't contain them at all. And Sabonis just owns Anthony Davis for some reason. I don't know why. But like De'Aaron Foxes of the world, they just give us so much problems.
It's the only thing that can stop us is health. Like I think we have one of the better teams. We should be somewhere between the 3 and the 7 seed. Somewhere like that.
W.
Yeah,
I dig me some De'Aaron Fox, man. As much as y'all dudes talk about Jalen Brunson this and Trae Young that, I dig me some De'Aaron Fox. I do. I dig me some De'Aaron.
That's where De'Aaron belongs.
You think De'Aaron's better than Jalen Brunson and Trae Young?
I do. I don't think he's better than Trae Young, and I think he's a top 5 point guard though. I do.
What?
I think
Lucas Shea Steph. Wait, so Lucas Shea Steph and not Trae Young. Because you just said you don't think he's better than Trae, so he's better than the rest. So he's better than Halliburton, Brunson.
I think him and Brunson. I don't think they that far off.
What?
I think Brunson had a better year. Halliburton just entered the conversation.
Right behind him.
Halliburton just entered the conversation this season. Last season.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
No, wait, hold on. Who's the teams?
Let's stay right here. Keep going.
Who's the teams you think you can't beat? Ox in the playoffs in the West.
Oh, in the playoffs?
In the West?
Because I think, I like their team a lot. But who do you think?
I don't think there's any team we can't beat in the West. There's teams we don't want to play.
Who do you not view yourself as the favorites against?
Well, I mean, to honest, like basketball favorites,
to you.
Minnesota.
The playoffs start today, Ox. Y'all got to see Denver in round 1. How you feel about that?
I don't want to play. I'd rather play Denver than Minnesota.
That's what I'm about to ask you, Ox. The playoffs start today. You see Denver in round 1. How you feel about that series?
I'm not happy about it, but it's better than Minnesota.
What about the Pelicans?
The Pelicans.
Do you still feel the same way?
No, Jonas Valanciunas, it changes things. Changes.
Y'all see Oklahoma City in round 1, Ox. How you feel about them?
I want OKC.
You want OKC in round 1?
I want OKC. I want OKC for a couple of reasons though. I want OKC just because it's not gonna mean nothing if we can do it without beating them. We need to beat OKC just to let people know. And it'd be good for me to know, because if we can, like, let's say if me and DeMar DeRozan are right and we go to the Western Conference Finals, if we do it but don't play OKC, I'm gonna be a little.
Don't mean nothing. It doesn't.
I really wanted with OKC chill bad, because I don't like how they talk about De'Aaron with SGA. I don't like how they act like that little ass boy can get with DeMontis. I just don't. It's not. It's not what they think it is. I don't like how y'all really think Alex Caruso can guard De'Aaron and Malik. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Alex sitting in that chair, them hands be busy, Ox.
I want it with them.
Alex
I would rather. It's it's
we got Lou Dort too, bro.
We got a lot to prove, chill. Like,
I know you do. 100% you do.
We look bad right now. We look kind of goofy right now after what happened to us last season, getting the 3rd seed and then not making the playoffs again. Like, that's terrible. That looks bad on us. We got points to prove. We got to stay healthy and we got to play some real basketball. But if it comes out that we just not as good as these other teams, I mean, I would rather know that than you know what I'm saying. Like, I need to see it. I want to see us against OKC.
Your biggest.
I want to play Minnesota or Denver. Like, I don't want no easy matchups.
So
I don't want to take on some fluke.
So
what you say?
So you want a 1st round exit?
If that's what you call it, I don't want to play some broke down teams. I don't want to play inferior teams. I want to play teams that people act like are better than us.
Well,
That's
wouldn't you
all.
want? Well, no
No,
offense to the Sacramento Kings franchise, but wouldn't you want a layup in the first round? Given that, was I even born the last time y'all won a franchise playoff series?
Probably not. But I don't know when you were born. I don't know. Look,
2002.
I don't know when your young ass was born, but all I know is that I'm not trying to. You talking about we want a layup? Why would we? I want good basketball. You know,
your franchise.
Is Tyson Thomas a Sacramento fan? Is what I'm saying?
My thing is though, I'm actually in it for basketball. I'm not in it for.
Okay,
whatever.
so let's discuss basketball. Ox. You are the one who sat up here and told me, like, I don't know, a month ago in front of everybody, when you opened up this book, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is
Art of War
right here that you opened up. You opened up this book and you told me that.
Keep going, chill.
And you told me that self-preservation is a good thing. So the idea that you can avoid some teams, why is that a bad thing? Because last I checked, teams duck smoke all the time. Teams duck smoke all the time.
It's not a bad thing. See that, but in the that was in the Art of War.
Oh, you a Suns
fan. I'm not saying like that. You know, I don't want to win. I mean, that's self-preservation. Self-preservation is number one. But I do want good basketball though. I do want
to shut up the narrative that you dudes was.
Yeah, I don't know how y'all can stand that. Like for me, I want it to mean something. Like
y'all can do that in the regular season by playing good basketball.
I understand
that. What if y'all? No, I get that. I'm saying like, but y'all can always just finish better in the regular season than OKC, and that will prove all the doubters wrong.
Mm-hmm. No, it won't. Regular season. Come on, you know.
They're going to call the Kings a regular season team for losing the first round as a third seed, for not making the playoffs last year after dropping all the way down. Yeah, I know they do that on StreamYard. And then if they be better than OKC. I think it's the Logitech camera actually that does it instead. I don't know.
I got a Logitech. Focus casual, as you were saying.
Okay, but like I was saying, to go from third seed to lose in the first round, and then to not make the playoffs a year after, and then to be better than OKC. Which, by the way, to be better than OKC, you're probably gonna have to win damn near 60 games. And
more than 60.
Number one.
I think they
to do that, they're gonna call you a regular season team until you win in the playoffs. They did that to the Utah Jazz for a long time. They're gonna do that to you guys.
Yeah, I know. That's that's
so to me, playoff wins mean more than
rightfully so.
They're not going to take you seriously until you win.
I think Kings,
and that's why, for the sake of the franchise for Sacramento, I get your mindset, Ox, as a competitor. As a LeBron Lakers guy, I wanted the Nuggets round one. I wanted them to get them out the way because we're going to have to play them.
LeBron Lakers anyway. Or LeBron and like, are you a Lakers fan or a LeBron fan?
LeBron guy, but Lakers by extension.
Also, you travel around the world too.
For LeBron, but you get what I'm saying. I wanted the Nuggets off rip because I wanted to take them right now because we're most likely going to play them in the later rounds. I get what you're saying, but you said 2002. I wasn't alive the last time the Kings won a playoff series. Your franchise needs to lay up more than like 99% of the league, so you probably want that one playoff series win before anything.
Meanwhile,
I probably want what I said I want.
You go from not making the playoffs for 17 years to getting the defending NBA champs, or I'm not the defending NBA champs. You get what there was. You get the defending NBA champs in round one.
That's not good. Mind you,
they could have closed that series out.
That series was crazy.
Y'all should have won it. Actually, y'all should have beat them in six.
That was good basketball. I was at game one. Me and my little brother drove down there for game one. We went to game one. The atmosphere was insane. Like I love that. I love that good basketball. We were one game and 50 points from Steph Curry away from getting to the second round. I'm fine with how that ended.
But you blew it.
That was great. That was great basketball. It was a hell of a series. I loved every minute of it.
But you were up 2-0 and you lost to the more experienced team, and that's what I'm saying. They're going to keep thinking you're a regular season team until you win that.
Well, everybody got more.
We are a regular season team. It's not you thinking that. That's what's happening. It's not a narrative.
That's why I said you need that playoff series win.
All right, bro. Let's move on. I don't even know why bro keep saying the same thing over and over. I understand what you're saying,
but Ox. How can you deny that y'all don't need a regular season win? How can you deny that?
I'm not denying it. I think we need that, man. I just want to see good basketball too. Like I want to beat OKC, bro. It's personal.
You'll get good basketball in the second round.
You
Don't
know,
worry.
it's personal, right? I want to be OKC
There's
in
good
any
basketball.
round.
I think y'all might see them in the first round. So I think that'd be a
It
good
could be
option.
first round, Western Conference Finals, second round. I don't care. I just want to be OKC, bro. That's all I said.
Shout out, bro.
And you want a layup too, right?
If that's a layup, if Alex Caruso is lunch like I think he is, then yeah.
Ox, there's no way you think he's lunch, Ox. There's no way you think that. And
He
I'm
might
saying,
look. Everybody else might not got the digestive system that the Fox got. He might not be lunch to everybody else. He might be inedible to everybody else, but De'Aaron gonna eat.
All right, y'all. Shout out to De'Aaron. Shout out to everybody that has strong digestive systems, and shout out to lunch. I don't know what you guys are going to be eating for lunch, but shout out to whatever's on the menu. Arch sent through $100 super chat. Yes, I read it, but I'm going to read it again. He said, OG, like it or not, injured Kawhi better than Tatum. And if injured Kawhi was on the Celtics, he would do better than Tatum.
That's some of the most ridiculous shit. Give me a break, man. No, he wouldn't. An injured Kawhi Leonard is better than a healthy Jason Tatum. Give me a break, man.
I mean, depends how injured he is.
How injured has he been, Mars? He's been debilitated where he can't play.
If it's that injured, then
and that's what he's been. Give me a break, man.
If he just got like a paper cut, I'm taking
I don't think that's not an injury.
World Peace sent through a super chat. He said, whoa, Ox is a roach. Why is he even talking basketball? Just be rude for no reason to that man. Come to Florida with that mentality.
Clown.
What is that? What's
He
all this
called you a
hostility
hee hee
for?
ha ha. Well, because I think
I don't know, but I also gotta go to Florida, so we need to do PC weekend in Florida.
Yo, Sliper, he called him a hee hee ha ha. What?
They called him a hee hee ha ha. Said he's entertaining. I think that's because he said what he said just now. I think because I said what I said type thing. That's Ox, just being Ox. Ox is a very nice person, man. He's probably one of the nicest people that I've met through the content game, man. He's a nice dude.
I'm trying to tell you guys,
He's staying his place. Right,
Swiper, you calling Ox a sweet guy?
Nah, bro. He just don't be about other people's business. Now, Chill on the other hand, everybody's business. Oh, my business, everybody's business. I'm like over here, like eating my lunch. Like, what you eat, Swiper?
This is not true, but okay. That's not true, but I hate whatever.
Breezy sent through the super chat. Breezy said Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Sohan, CP3, and Barnes is good. Stop making excuses for Wemby. Luka made the playoffs with Tim Hardaway Jr., Dorian Finney-Smith, Tingus Pingus when healthy, and Dwight Powell.
Just look at the state of the West.
This is nasty, bro. You could win 45 games in the West this year, not even sniff the postseason. And all right, this is nasty.
Disgusting.
Now that's still not going to come close to the playoffs, but it's like,
and the league is so talented today too. Oh, you have Vassell. Congratulations. There's teams with like 5 Vassells. Congrats. You have CP3. Congrats. Like the league is so talented. Like, okay, those players are good, but everyone else has those level of players.
Keldon Johnson isn't good. So
how many teams would Devin Vassell be the second best player on in the West?
The second best player?
The Rockets. The
Blazers.
No.
You're right. Actually, yes. You're telling me he's not a hater. Like, are we serious? He be the second best. Is he the second
Portland,
best
probably. Portland, yeah.
No.
Maybe Portland. Maybe
Portland.
Portland.
I
don't think so.
Maybe. He's not better than Jarian. I mean,
he's not. So he's not the second. So he's not the second best player in Minnesota. He's not the second best player.
He's not the best. He's not the second best player in any of the playoff teams.
Yeah. None of them. None of them.
Is he the second best player on the Spurs?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna say
better than
Barnes?
Chris Paul. He's better than Harrison Barnes.
Is he the second best player in Portland?
I like Keldon Johnson a lot.
Portland.
I don't think so.
No.
He's not better than. He's not better than Anthony
Simons and who Jeremy Grant probably be that too.
He's not better than. I don't think he's better than Shannon Sharp.
He ain't better than DeAndre Ayton. No, he's not
better than DeAndre Ayton either.
No, he's not.
Okay, that's whoever you think he's not better than, he's not top 2. That's fine.
He's not better than Ayton.
No, he isn't.
No, he's not better than Ayton.
I ain't gonna give DeAndre Ayton praise.
He's not gonna be getting minutes for Donovan Clingan, but I'm talking about DeAndre.
Devin Vassell might be the worst second best player in the West.
So,
is he better than Tumani Kamara?
All right, bro.
It's a good West. It's a good West.
It's a damn good West.
Yeah, the West is crazy. Like him
46
being
games ain't enough to get in the playoffs.
It's unfortunate, man.
Scott Holder said Mars, quote unquote, Harden gonna turn back the clock. PFT. Harden's clock is a sundial or an hourglass.
Mars, the reason why I said that
a sundial moves at the same speed as a normal clock, by the way, just so we're clear.
Some people are James Harden haters, bro. Listen, Harden is not the Houston guy who can get you 40 points every single game. But, bro, there are games last year where Paul George or Kawhi didn't play, and the Clippers had, all right, this is why we traded for you, James Harden. Here you go. And James Harden was rattling off 20-11, 25-8, 30-7 for the Clippers multiple times in the regular season and the playoffs last year. So it's like, what are we doing, bro?
I mean, he was their best player in the playoffs.
100%.
He was their best player in the playoffs. So that's
he was. The reason why I brought up, and the reason why I said 28 a game at an MVP, he'd be in the MVP conversation, is because when you remember James Harden averaging 28 a game, he wasn't just buckets. He was doing a whole lot of other stuff too. A whole lot of other stuff. So if he's at 28 a game on this Clipper team, that means he's doing a whole lot of other stuff too. And that means that Clipper team is winning. I've never seen James Harden go 28 a game and it's empty. I've never seen that.
Yeah, I mean, 2016, and I think he was 28 a game and they were 500. I think
playoffs.
I might have just made that up. Yeah, but they were the 8 seed,
yeah.
Lost to the Warriors in round 1.
So that was the 2015-2016 season. Is that correct? That was the year he showed up to camp. He was out of shape.
That was the year he showed up out of shape. Dwight Howard was having problems. Yeah, a lot of things happened, but 28 a game and they were 500. But man, James Harden is still the only difference between James Harden now and the James Harden that was putting up 600 points is he's just not as quick as he used to be. You know, like he can still create separation on the 3-point line.
He'll get a couple 40 balls this year.
He's still one of the most efficient.
Nah, Mars, it's mental. If he's not as athletic and quick as he used to be, it's mental. He's in his head.
35 years old.
The hamstring injuries zapped a lot of his quickness. So but he's still one of the most efficient isolation players in the NBA.
He's
the regular season last year, the two most efficient isolation players were James Harden and Kawhi. Like the Clippers had both of them in terms of like the high volume isolation plays. And then in the playoffs, James Harden was top 5 again. I know 6-game samples, but like James Harden in isolation is still going to cook anyone. Like he can do that. It's just he's not going to get to the rim with the same regularity. He's not going to have the volume that he used to have because he just isn't capable of taking 25 shots a game anymore. But when he does take his shots in the smaller sample, he's extremely efficient, extremely good in isolation. He still knows how to draw fouls. He can get to that step back whenever he wants. And he's one of the best passers and playmakers in the sport. Like James Harden is still really, really good, but he just gets ignored because people don't like him.
Remind me, Mars. What did you say? How far did you say the Clippers could go?
I actually didn't give an answer to that. We just moved on.
Because Ron don't care about stuff like that. Like,
I think if everything goes right for the Clippers, which would mean Kawhi Leonard is healthy and James Harden's healthy and the team's fully available, I still think they probably lose in the second round. But I think it'll be a hard-fought second round loss. Depends on the matchups. Maybe conference finals if they get favorable matchups in the first 2 rounds.
This team,
James Harden has to lead the way. James Harden has to be the driving force.
I'd view it as more like him and Kawhi are both in the front seat. James Harden got the aux and Kawhi, and he's controlling like the GPS, but Kawhi's driving. But don't
touch the control. Don't touch the control. You touch the radio, anything else over here. Just don't touch.
Yeah, he gonna tell Kawhi like we gotta take this next exit and all of those stuff. But Kawhi's gonna be the one actually driving the vehicle. So when the vehicle crashes and burns, we blame Kawhi and not James Harden.
Yeah, and a crash and burn is a knee injury. So that's the crash and burn.
By the way, just want to clarify something. You know, Chill, me and you go back and forth about Jason Tatum. I actually really like Jason Tatum. There's no real beef with him.
No, you don't.
Listen. I've already had Jason Tatum top 8 2 years ago, so this is nothing new. And we do this for whatever. Be quiet, Mars. But the only dusty franchise that I truly don't like because their fan base is just deplorable and their front runners just like their best player is Phoenix Suns fans. Because they haven't won anything. They're not going to win anything. They know they're fraudulent. They know they're not winning anything this next year. They're going to be first round outs again. And so Tyson Thomas, you can take your 8-0 win 8-0 run that you had in the bubble, and then you can hold on to that for the rest of your life because you're not winning anything. And then once Kevin Durant's done with your,
they
with
won
your
the Western Conference Championship the next season.
Yeah, sure. And then once Kevin Durant is done with your dusty franchise, he decides he wants to get up out that dirty bed and go somewhere else. Then you can revel having Devin Booker and Bradley Beal on your team going forward.
Are you still not over the Suns and 4 guy?
Suns and 4. I remember the whole
like you're
thing.
still not over the Suns and 4
Jamal Murray
guy.
would have made no difference. And then next thing you know, Chill, they're down 30 at home in a game 6. So I don't know.
It seems like you're still not over the Suns and 4 guy.
That still is one of the most unacceptable losses that I've ever seen, to be honest with you. To get blown out in your building by 40 in a series
BBL'd in
clinching
back years at home.
In a series clinching game, to get blown out by 40.
Both years, son.
Both years.
All right, y'all. Well, we are going to continue to keep it pushing. We have talked about the Phoenix Suns. We have talked about the Sacramento Kings. We have talked about the Los Angeles Clippers. We have not got as many likes as we should, so you guys should probably do your job, and then we'll continue to do our job, and we'll be a nice, happy family over here at Players Choice. But like the video, subscribe, and shout out to our Hall of Famers. We are going to move on to the next team. Yes, you guys guessed it. We're going to talk about the Golden State Warriors.
Save the Lakers for the end.
Yes, sir.
How do we feel about this iteration of the Warriors without Klay Thompson, but still with Steph and Draymond and Steve Kerr? Mars, since you're the closest thing to a Warriors fan up here.
Okay.
You start us off.
I feel good. I think the Warriors are becoming slightly underrated. They were a 46-win team last year with all the turmoil they had with Draymond Green suspensions because he can't control his limbs, even though he tries to act as if, oh, I don't know what my limbs are doing. Like, okay, buddy. But like when they're fully available and healthy, even with Wiggins having the down year, and now we can understand why he was going through what he was going through with his father passing, and he was dealing with that. So I'm not going to be like, oh, I project he's going to get back to his all-star self, but I can understand why he had the down year considering what he was dealing with. With Kuminga going into year 4, hopefully he takes another jump for the Warriors, hopefully for them. Steph had a bad end to the season. I feel like that's because he had just too much of a burden on his shoulders. But I feel like the personnel they got was to allow Steph to get back to his off-ball self, which I think is where he's at his best. Kyle Anderson as a point forward, Draymond Green being available, Kuminga taking more of a shot creation load, which I think is what's going to happen this year. Once again, Andrew Wiggins. I think Moses Moody is going to be a big contributor for them this year. Buddy Hield being a floor spacer, he is. TJD, I think, is going to be huge for them. I think the Warriors, if they're healthy, are going to be a pretty good regular season team. Now, does that mean top 5 seed? No, I think the West is too stacked. I think they're probably going to be in the play-in, but I think they're going to be a really good team who's going to be tough to beat in the first round if they make it. So I project them probably 6 through 8 seeds, maybe a 5 seed if everything is on the right tracks. And
who's behind them out of the play-in then?
Who's behind them?
Yeah, Spurs, Blazers, Utah.
Spurs, Blazers, Utah would be behind them. I've got the Pelicans behind them. And then that last spot would either be the Rockets, the Clippers. The Rockets or the Clippers, probably. So yeah, I think they're gonna be like a 5 through 8 seed ish. Who can get to I think second round is probably their ceiling. I think there's too many unfavorable matchups for them out west in the playoffs. But I think they're a good team who gets underrated as if they're just bad. I don't think they're bad. I think they're pretty good.
Chill. Warriors?
I completely disagree with Mars. I think the demolition has already started. I think the demolition has already started, and I think that Steph Curry will be on a trade block by the time the trade deadline comes. This team is going to be. I don't think that they're going to be Charlotte bad. I don't think that they're going to be Trailblazers bad, but I don't think that they're going to be nearly as good as anybody thinks that they are. This is a team that, from last season, they struggled to score in the post. Not only did they struggle to score in the post, Steph Curry is a year older. He's still one of the best shooters. He's still the best shooter in the game. I won't argue that. But now you lose another 40% long ball shooter, and now you're going to replace that with Andrew Wiggins, who's also on the trading block, and you have Steve Kerr, who still doesn't know how to work with big men, and you got a young big in Jackson Davis, who's awesome, but you don't know how to use him. You don't know exactly what you're doing with him. Pods, who held up the trade to improve this team to get Lauri Markkanen into the crew. So now you're holding on to Pods, who basically you held on to him because you want him to learn from Steph Curry. This team should have the moves that should have been made 2 years ago, only except they weren't. And now we're still holding on to an older team. And in the process of holding on to an older team, a lot of the teams in the Western Conference have gotten better. And the Golden State Warriors, I don't think they have improved that much. I mean, Buddy Hield, I don't think he's an upgrade from Klay Thompson, to be quite honest with you. I don't think
they got Buddy and
they got slow-mo. They got Buddy and they got slow-mo. So I don't think that Buddy
and DeAnthony Melton.
Yeah,
and they got DeAnthony Melton also, but I don't think he's an upgrade from Klay Thompson. And to have Andrew Wiggins going through what he's going through, and just so you know, guys, the fact that his father passed away, okay, this thing isn't over now. That you know, okay, my father's gone. No, this could be also something that works. This could also be something that could hamper him even more. So, and he's already on the trade block. So I'm definitively saying I don't think the Warriors are making the playoffs.
So them and the Clippers are the two teams you have missing the playoffs.
I remember when I told you, Mars, that I got Memphis and Houston in the playoffs. That's who they're replacing.
In the playoffs or play in?
Both.
Well, he got the Rockets as a top 5
Warriors
seed.
didn't make the playoffs.
In the what?
Mm-hmm.
He got the Rockets as a top 5 seed. So
What?
One more time for the people in the cheap seats. I have Houston as a top 5 seed next
All
season.
right, chill. We don't make bets on PC, right? Okay.
I do. Chill.
What you putting up? What you putting up, chill?
What are you putting up?
Hey, shoot, bro. Shoot. I mean, everybody close your ears if you're under the age of 21, chill. Shoot a flight to Atlanta. Come through. We going out. Salsa Congress, the whole thing. We doing the whole 9 in Atlanta.
I might have
1,000%.
Well, first of all, we don't have to bet that.
Apparently we do.
No, we don't. No, we don't. We actually don't have to bet that. I can come through Atlanta. That's not a problem. But I'm speculating with Houston. Now, am I betting a rent check on them being a top 5 seed? No, I'm not doing that. But I think that they're going to be that good this season. I do. Yes, I do.
All right. Well, let's get back to the Warriors. We will get to Houston sometime next week, maybe, potentially, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
But as of right now, we're talking about the Golden State Warriors. Casual. How do you feel about your guy Steph Curry?
My guy Steph Curry. I wouldn't say he's my guy. But
what would you say, Casual? What would you say? What would you say?
Well, no,
okay,
that's
not your guy,
but brother. But him and the Warriors did some unspeakable things to LeBron for years. So that's still in the back of my head. So
you ain't off that
guy.
You're not.
It's been years ago now, so we're cool. We're cool, bro. Acquaintances.
You're on speaking terms,
but we're acquaintances.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I have to agree with Chill. I don't think this team got better. And when you are borderline 10th seed and you lose in the first play-in game, and you didn't get better in the West, everyone around you did or were already better than you, then you don't really stand a chance. Steph Curry declined in the second half of last season. I don't see him getting to unreal heights. The only way this team has a chance if he's 2021 Steph all over again. I don't see that happening, just given that he's older. Draymond's going to be worse, given that he's older. Buddy Hield isn't better than Klay Thompson. This team is still Steph Curry reliant. That was their problem last year. That was their problem the year before, and it's going to be their problem again. They're too reliant on Steph Curry. Kuminga's good. Pods is good. Wiggins is good, but do you really – I'll give them the 10th seed just because I'm a big guy, and if your core has just been winning for years,
they better than the Clippers?
I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Kerr, Draymond, Steph, they just know how to win basketball games. They'll probably be the 10th seed, but
well, I'm saying, but hold on. If Memphis and the Kings are both coming up, who's dropping down to keep them at 10?
If Memphis and the Kings are coming up,
meaning they're going to be both all top 10 seeds.
Yeah, actually, it would probably have to be the Warriors. It would probably have to be the Warriors.
So that means
this is going to be the worst year of their dynasty by far, not counting the years where Steph was just out for the whole year.
Oh, New Orleans is out. Swiper. New Orleans is out.
I think the Pelicans are better than the Warriors. I think the Pelicans are better than the Warriors. I don't really like the Warriors this year at all. I don't like. I'm just looking at this team. They got no one employed above 6'9". That's not good.
How tall is Trace?
6'9", 6'10".
I think
For
it's
real?
6'10".
Yeah.
Yeah,
He played bigger than 6'9". He played bigger than 6'9".
Above the age, like above 6'9". I don't really see their identity here. They got some old and some young. They're just not that good.
And they still don't know what they're doing with this. What's the plan with Kuminga?
Do I trust Steve Kerr?
They haven't.
He loves pods, but does he love Moody? Like, I want to see Moody get some run, but he's not really playing Moody. Like, he's not really playing.
Right, Mars, you were the one
a lot now.
Yeah, Mars, you brought up Moody being more productive. And in order for me to be productive, I got to play consistently. He's in and out of the lineup, just like Kuminga was in and out of the lineup. There was games when Kuminga would play 30 minutes and he'd have like 22 points on like 8 for 12 shooting, and then the next night, 3 days later, he'd play 22 minutes and he'd only take like 4 shots, and then he'd get yanked out of the game.
And now you bring in the veterans with Buddy Hield and Melton. Kerr's probably going to give it to them, like in final minutes of games.
Well, hold on. So their starting lineup
bigger than them. Though, so.
Their starting lineup projected is Curry, Pods, Wiggins, Kuminga, Draymond. Where's that rank? Like even just starting fives in the West.
Wait, one more time, slower. One more time.
That's what ESPN has. It's Draymond Green at center.
Okay.
Draymond Green at center. Jonathan Kuminga at the 4. Andrew Wiggins at the 3. Brandon Podziemski at the 2.
And Steph at the 1.
Yeah, Steph at the 1.
Okay, maybe I don't believe in this team as much as I.
Oh boy, you don't like that too much, Mars. You feeling that 5, Mars?
Not really.
I like their collection of guys, though. I really like that.
Ron, that's a whack 5.
I'm not talking about that 5. I'm talking about their collection of guys. We know the Steve Kerr
has a nice collection of guys. It's whose guys are better. Like the NBA is so talented. Every team in the league, unless you're like the Pistons, every team has a nice collection of guys.
Well, not everybody has a Steph Curry though. We can start there.
Nobody does.
Yeah, but I can't just say the Warriors are gonna make the playoffs because they got Woods out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but they had Steph Curry last year, Ron. They didn't make the playoffs.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but I think they're better this year than last year. That's what I'm getting at.
In what way?
Even if they are better this year than last year, just for the sake of arguments, we don't have to discuss whether or not they're better. The West is also better.
The West is
like the rest of the conference is also better.
100%.
So have they improved by a margin big enough to where they've overcome the West's overall?
The West,
are they better than the Kings, Ron, for you?
Like they got smacked by the Kings in the playing game. The Kings have improved. The Grizzlies were a relevant team last season because
they whole crew back.
The Grizzlies are now back and probably better with the addition of Zach Edey.
Yes, sir.
So that's a team that's better. They were battling with the Rockets for the play-in. The Rockets, who by all intents and purposes, other than Swiper, have also gotten better. And then you got the teams above them, like the Nuggets, who are still just going to be clearly better. The Thunder have gotten better, going to be clearly better. And then you go through the rest of the Dallas Mavericks, etc., who have taken the Warriors, 3rd or 4th best player from last year, and he's now on their team. Like, have the Warriors improved by enough to make up for the rest of the West improvement?
It comes down to 2 things. A, can Steph Curry turn back to be 2021 Steph all over again, where he can shoulder 30 points? It keeps doing that, where it shoulders 30 points a game. I don't really think so. And 2, I think it's my Logitech camera that has this feature.
Casual, just so you know, Casual, that leads the league in scoring, by the way. What Steph Curry
this year, 30 is not going to lead the league in scoring.
No, it's not, but that's what he did, though.
That's what he did. And 2, what jump is Kuminga going to make? It all comes down to, can Kuminga go from, what was Kuminga when he was actually getting good PT? 17 to 20 points per game when he was actually playing? Mm-hmm. He's got to make a bigger jump than 20 if this Warriors team wants to be serious.
Oh, that could. Okay, never mind. That could. Okay, cool.
It's really Steve Kerr, though. Like I was saying, I like Buddy Hield over here. The Anthony Melton's very underrated. I like the role that Kyle Anderson could potentially play. I see a little bit of a Sean Livingston type of role out of him. I'm just like, the biggest thing is Steve Kerr. What are you going to do with your pieces? Starting Draymond at center, I hate that. Overplaying Podziemski, I hate that.
Whoa. Stop right there, Ron. He's played center in the past. That's
yes, but he hasn't
started
center. He hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't been. You haven't expected Draymond to hold down your 5 position.
No, I'm not. Okay. Oh, all right, Ron. He ain't Rudy Gobert in the paint. I'm not going to argue.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that part I'm not going to argue. But when you're talking about closeout lineups, small ball lineups, Draymond can play the 5. The problem is that Draymond isn't who Draymond used to be. That's the problem.
Another thing too.
Right? That's
He's
the
still
problem.
really
I
good.
think it's both of
He
them.
is. No, okay, Mars. There's a difference between being really good and being the defensive player of the year level. Is he even still playing at an all-league defensive level?
Yes.
Is he still
Yes.
playing at that
Draymond
level?
Green, yes.
When he's dialed in, I think he's one of the 10 best defenders in the league.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
they were
now we
still-
got to. So now we have to be dialed in. So this is a team that I don't think has gotten better. The Western Conference has gotten better. Draymond has already told us that he's having a difficult time playing for a team that sucks. He already said that. And this team isn't going to be good just off the 5 that you mentioned, Swiper, when you talked about their starting 5. So now I got to get Draymond dialed in on defense. And we know for a fact that Draymond at some point, he's going to short circuit.
He's going to
know that
out.
for a fact. Okay. We know that he's going to short circuit
out.
at some point. So with all of these things factoring in, and we could be looking at a 2014, 2015 Western Conference where it might take 50 games to get in the playoffs. It might take 50 games to get into the playoffs. I don't think the Golden State Warriors are 50 games good. I don't.
They're 40. They're 500. I think this Warriors team.
You think they're going to be 500?
They're 500.
I guess. I mean, with how much they're going to have to play the rest of their division, yeah, I could see it.
This is going to be a long 82 games. Long 82 games. Where they're going to be fighting.
They waited too long, Swiper. They waited too long. I told you they were supposed to trade Steph at the beginning of last offseason. They were supposed to do this to save their franchise and to let Steph go somewhere he can compete.
To me, they were supposed to trade all those young picks and young players for a bona fide star. That's what they should have done. I thought
they should have got Larry Markkinen. That's what they should have done.
That should have prolonged their dynasty. If they would have done that
dumb,
when Siakam was on the market, maybe they were trying to get Lowry. But if they were to do that, maybe in 2020 when they had all those picks, this Golden State team could be a top 5 seed for years.
They could.
I got a question, Swiper, really quickly before you go. I got a question for you specifically, and just for the panel. Do you think Pods really held up that trade?
Yes, that's the reports came out.
I want to believe the reports are fake because there's no way you gave.
That's what I'm thinking. There's no way, man.
This team loves Pods. They're not going.
Larry Markkinen is like the most Golden Statey player outside of Golden State.
He can't hold up this trade.
Like you think Golden State? What do you think? You think of the motion, the ball movement, the off-ball play. Larry Markkinen is basically a Golden State Warrior player.
The problem is they see all that Golden Statey things in Pods, and that's why they're falling in love with him. They see that's why they want to trade
Kyle Lowry. I don't know why they acting like it's anything.
They see it.
Kyle Lowry. He not Larry.
They made him untouchable.
Yeah, I'm out. They're not making the playoffs, and this is what it is.
Yeah, I think I've walked back my.
They earned their rings. They got their Kevin Durant era. This is the end of the era. This is all the end.
They're not making the play-in, Swiper.
I'm legit. I'm of the mind they're not making the play-in.
They'll be fighting to the play
unless somebody gets hurt. Like unless the West has 2 teams that are just like dusty hurt. Like I'm talking about like missing 2 of their best players throughout the year on and off. That's the only way they make the play-in.
Yeah, and that's just stuff that's hard to predict. So you just have to think of everyone being healthy.
Who are you afraid of on that team other than Steph?
I mean, Draymond's violence. That's a very valid fear to have.
Yeah, that is fair.
Yeah, everything else. And even if Steph gets hot, Steve Kerr gonna sub him out. So it's like, do we really have to fear it? Yeah, I don't know. Steph makes 6 threes. Steve Kerr gonna take him out for 4 minutes and like, oh, cool. So it's like, I'll be all right.
I'm interested to see how Buddy Hield looks over here too. Buddy Hield and Steph next to each other. That's y'all cannot deny them to as shooters.
Now, I'm glad you brought him up though, Ron, because to Mars's point, you are going to see a different Buddy Hield off the strength that. What's your biggest problem with him, Mars?
He won't shoot
contested shots. Well, here's the difference.
Degree of difficulty shots.
Oh, right. And here's the difference in that offense with the action that they run, a lot of the ball movement. He's going to get a lot of open shots. A lot. So you're going to see a lot more open looks from Buddy Hield, which means that him knocking down the long ball is going to make him look a lot different as opposed to when he was in Philly when he was in Indiana where he didn't get as many open shots as he's going to get in Golden State.
Indiana, he got a lot of open. He can't play defense though at all.
He can't do anything inside the 3-point. There's a lot of things he can shoot. He's bad on defense, and once you force him inside the 3-point line, he becomes a liability. Like he's a flawed player, but he can shoot. But I don't know how. I would much rather play Moses Moody, DeAnthony Melton, and Podziemski over Buddy Hield, like in a large sample of minutes, personally, but that's just me.
Well, one thing that the Warriors fans have to look forward to is Steph Curry being the highest paid player in the NBA for 8 straight seasons. Shout out to Stephen Curry. You do know that he will get paid. He's the only player to ever do this. And in case you're wondering what it is, in 2017-18, he made $34 million. In 2018-90, he made $37. The following year, he made $40. The next year, 2021, he made $43. 21-22, he made $45. 22-23, he made $48. 23-24, he made $52. And this next upcoming season, he will make $55.8 million to be exact. So shout out to Steph Curry for being consistent.
So he got paid on the back end.
Makes up for the 4-year 44 he signed early on. So.
Yep, got paid on the back end. We'll take care of you later. I think he got 2. He had 2 max deals with the Warriors and this extension for 6. That's the thank you money. That's what that is.
100%.
I mean, with the amount of taxes he'd be having to pay, it's like he getting 55. He really going to see like 200,000. Man, he not really rich for.
All right, y'all. Transitioning, you do know that we have to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers next.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and do it. But before I get you guys' thoughts and feelings on the Lakers, it's a couple things that have been acknowledged about the Lakers and spoken on about the Lakers, and a couple things that we do know now that Media Day has happened. One of which being JJ Redick announcing what the Lakers starting 5 will be. He said, when asked who does he plan to start next season, he said it'd be the starting 5 that went 23-10 last year. And that lineup is projected to be D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. How do we feel about this starting lineup?
That's exactly what I expected.
Swiper?
7 seed.
I won't argue with that, to be honest with you. I think they're a playoff team. I don't think that they're a regular season team. I think they're a playoff team. I do. I think this team is built for the playoffs. I would be surprised if they were higher than a 6 seed. I would be surprised.
I would be.
I
think they're most likely going to be the 7 seed. They're most likely going to be the 7 seed. But when I look at last season, like what Ron just said, they lost so many games because Darvin Ham was terrorizing the lineup. Taurean Prince having minutes when he's not supposed to. When you play that starting 5, look what he said. What did you say, 23-10? That starting 5, that second half of the season took off, and it saved the Lakers season because they were playing 500 basketball for most of the year. And then all of a sudden, they win that. So my thing is, if they would have just kept that starting lineup for the whole season, they probably finished 5th last year.
Well, who finished 5th last year?
The Mavs.
I'm sorry,
they won 51 games?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
And the Lakers won what? 47?
46, I think.
It was something in the mid to high.
It's only 4 or 5 games.
I said, but 5-game difference is a big gap.
But they went 3-10 after the in-season tournament because they're playing Cam Reddish, Jared Vanderbilt, Taurean Prince starting lineup.
Did they go 2-10 to start the year off last year, or the?
No, that was the year before that.
That was the Russell Westbrook final year.
22-23.
They went 3-10 after the break because they were playing games with their 3 best players outside of LeBron and Anthony Davis all on the bench. Think about that. Rui, D'Lo, and Austin Reeves all on the bench, multiple games because we're starting Prince, Vanderbilt, and Reddish. That is disgusting. And they still, which I don't know why people don't give the Lakers credit, still won 47 games with those lineups. So if you have that starting lineup for most of the year, that's 50 wins. Now, do I think they're going to get 50 wins? I don't know how healthy LeBron and Anthony Davis are going to take the regular season. But coming off the Olympics, this is probably the last chance that they got.
No,
I think they're 60 in the West.
I don't want to see another Lakers Nuggets series. I'm so over that.
If I'm being honest with you, Swiper, I don't either. Neither do I. I don't.
I'm so tired of watching LeBron get put out early. It hurts my heart.
I'm so tired of
it's just that he ain't lying. He ain't lying, Ron. It's a bad matchup for them. It is a terrible matchup for them. It's a terrible matchup for them.
The reason why it's such a bad matchup is because it's always right there for them. How many games you feel like the Lakers could hit one shot down the stretch or they don't blow this 20-point lead? It's a different series. The game, it's such a bad matchup because it's always there for them.
But it's almost like Denver knows that you guys are going to fold up at the end. It's almost like they know that. No matter what these guys do, they get us down 20. They're going to let us back in. If we get into a nip and tuck game, they're going to roll over at the end. They know who you guys are. They know exactly who you
one
guys
fam.
are.
You can't agree on takes, one fam.
Right.
Somebody need to agree with you. I'll say something crazy.
Ron, he's a 15-year-old who should be in class right now. That's who he is. He's a 15-year-old who should be in class, who's a troll, who doesn't know anything about basketball and has no takes on anything whatsoever. Zero. He's just here to irritate people. That's all he is. He's a fly.
I'm interested in seeing what JJ Redick does with the spacing of this team, how he's going to utilize Anthony Davis, what the motion of the offense is. Please, not be stagnant. We'll have guys running off screens and doing all that. No Cap Prince said in the chat, best defender in 17 games. Vanderbilt was hurt for a lot of their series. Hope he can get back and play some point of attack defense because the Lakers don't really have maybe any of those guys outside of Prince. So it'll be interesting. I think the Lakers can win 50 games this year. I think the Lakers are really good. I think just because they lose to the Nuggets and they won one playoff game against the Nuggets in 2 years, that we act like the Lakers just aren't good. I think the Lakers are pretty good. There's not many teams in the West I would take in a 7-game series over the Lakers.
Gabe Vincent, who else?
Vando.
Gabe Vincent didn't play. He was pretty much irrelevant.
Yeah.
He gonna play this year. He's gonna be healthy.
I don't know. I don't think he really needs to play. If he can't turn that clock,
Dalton connect.
Don't connect. He doesn't really play much defense, but
you guys are missing a very important name. But keep going.
No, we're not mentioning Bronny James.
There you go, Mars.
Why?
He's going to be in
you
the.
You said point of attack defense.
You
said point of attack defense. I don't know what to tell you.
Bronny's not going to play for at all.
Did y'all hear JJJ and Zach Lowe's apparently last meeting
ESPN podcast
as a ESPN employee apparently. He asked JJJ about his jump shot with the Anthony Davis jump shot. It sounds like they have a solve for some of that. If Beatty's hitting jumpers like he did in the first round all year, I'm not saying 75% of them, which is what he did in the first round. If he's hitting jumpers again, I do think that changes prospects for that team.
I mean, it's hard for me to project. He says he has a theory, but if I don't know the theory, I can't speak on whether or not I think his theory is going to be right or wrong. Now, JJ Redick is one of the best shooters of all time. So if he feels there's a mechanical issue or something that has changed with Anthony Davis's jumper that he feels he can address, I think you'd listen to JJ Redick, but that doesn't mean he's right. But I like to see AD making jumpers again. I'd also like to see AD not settling for jumpers, though. So it's a fine line between he can make them, but he doesn't just let the defense off the hook by taking them. I think he's at his best around the rim, pick and rolls, lobs, putbacks. But if he can just step out and make 18-foot jumpers or make the occasional spot-up three and a pick and pop, it adds an extra layer to their offense. But I think their offense is still going to be at its best when it's LeBron initiating or LeBron in the post or AD, DHOs, all of those things. Mm-hmm. So I think AD shooting is probably the least of their concerns. It's going to be about the rest of their shooters. Is D'Lo going to be a good enough movement shooter to justify playing the rest of the all of those things. That's where I have the
regular season D'Lo's good. Regular season D'Lo's good. That's a good point.
Naval lint chill. It's when you don't wash your body and you just got dirt in your navel. That's what he called him.
And that's him. And Mars, you brought up a really interesting point, and we had a conversation about this last year about the Lakers when we talked about Darvin Ham seeing himself in, which is why Taurean Prince played a lot. He saw himself in Taurean Prince, which would explain why Taurean Prince played a lot. I'm going to use that same logic with. I feel like he's going to incorporate Reeves a lot more because I think that JJ Redick sees a lot of himself in Reeves. And I think he's going to incorporate Reeves a lot in the offense. I think he's going to get him more involved in the action. I think he's going to put the ball in his hands a little bit more. Not just him, but also Dalton Connect. I think he's going to get him involved too in a lot of the action. So because of that, I think that could help them.
The white guys, interesting. It gets Colin Castles.
Reeves is better than JJ ever was, by the way.
This team's good. I think their problems last year, they were healthy. Well, just like the healthiest we ever seen LeBron and Anthony Davis as a duo since 2020. And they were fighting all season to be above 500 because they went 3-10 after the in-season tournament. They're above 500. They win the in-season tournament, which I guess no one really cares about, but they had to beat some good teams to get there, by the way. And then they go 3-10 right after because Darvin Ham couldn't make a consistent lineup, and he benched all their good players. But then he figured out the lineup, which wasn't hard to figure out. It wasn't just play your best players. Like, basketball's all about here's your best five. And they won a lot of games, and they managed to be the 7th seed. So if they just scrub out that 3-10 spot where they actually have a consistent lineup the entire year, this team is out the play-in. They're in the normal playoffs.
I think that because JJ Redick is going to do a good job at preserving James. James played 70 games last year. I think he's going to play upwards of that again this year, but I think that the minutes are going to get I know that sounds ridiculous. Old. Yeah, but I think that the minutes are going to get toned down. So I do think that he's going to be in the lineup. Well, because if you look at
Chill, how are they going to take his minutes down though? If he's their best playmaker, ball handler, offensive player.
And see, that's the thing. Well, I think that it's going to be situational more than anything. I think that they're going to be in positions where James, where they end up getting leads. That's what. Now remember, Swiper, I don't think that they're a top 5, 6 seed. I think that they're going to be good enough to make the playoffs. That's why I see them as the 7th seed. And I think that because they're going to manage James's minutes throughout the regular season, I think that they're going to lose games.
Is LeBron, but you know how that works though, like with Lakers fans, with LeBron, because and it's one thing to say it now, but the thing JJ Redick, that's why he has 2 former head coaches on the roster. The thing that's going to happen is they're going to take LeBron out. Remember, he staggers. Sure. He's going to go out with like 7 minutes left in the fourth, 8 minutes, whatever. It's going to get close, and then with 5 minutes or 4 minutes, they're going to be down 1 or 2. Or up 1 or 2 when the score is diminished, and everybody's going to be saying, get LeBron James in the game. And the problem is that he's going to feel all that pressure to win, but then all that's going to do is take LeBron's minutes from 31 to 34. And they're going to do that repeatedly over the course of the year. That's how his minutes get high. It's not like they're planning on that, but it's just the pressure of, I want to win a game. What am I going to do? Am I going to keep LeBron out?
Sounds that happened a lot last season because they tried
which sounds to me like we need to change the rotation, and number 2, I think we need to change James's role. Like him scoring as much as he scores, he shouldn't have to do that as much. Guys like Anthony Davis, guys like D'Angelo Russell, guys like Austin Reeves, those guys need to be more involved in the offense as scorers.
But not just as better scorers, though. Chill.
You don't have to be a better one second, though, Swiper. You don't have to be a better scorer to be more involved in the offense. You don't have to be a better scorer to get more involved in the offense and score more. There's plenty of guys who are good players who aren't as good as scorers but are more involved in the offense. So with that being said, to make James more of a distributor, to make James more of a playmaker, to get these guys involved more in the offense, I think that could help them win more games. But in the end, I think this team is focused a lot more on the playoffs. So I think James is going to be managed in that way.
Is there another team that's going to be able to defer away from their stars like that, though? Like that's going to have to that can manage their stars in like high leverage moments like that. That's going to be like a playoff team. No, I think that's where I'm coming from. I think that's just to solve it in the league. Like the league is built. I don't think that like deferring from LeBron for Reeves or D'Lo, who are both way worse offensive players,
sure, and
worse creators, and they don't have the same amount of gravity. And then Anthony Davis, we always talk about going away in the fourth quarter. He's a play finisher. I mean, that's what he is. He's a play finisher.
Right.
I think that's a lot to ask him to do in those moments. Go ahead.
Well, I don't think it's gonna be every night. That's the thing that's the thing that I'm harping on, which is why I get back to the idea that I don't think that they're gonna be a high seed. I think that it's gonna be just enough for them to win games to get into the playoffs. And once they get into the playoffs, then I think that whatever he does in terms of playmaking, in terms of scoring, I don't want to put too much on James in the aspect of James still being what he used to be. Because he turns 40 years old in December. So it's ridiculous for me to think that throughout the course of an 82-game season, James at 39 years old, because the Lakers didn't depend on Jabbar like that at 39 years old. They did not, and Jabbar isn't James. I'm not going to argue that, but James is still good. They still elite. I'm not going to say good. He's a lot better than that, but they still shouldn't have to depend on him that much. And I don't think that they will. I think that they're going to do enough where they end up making the playoffs. And then when the playoffs come around, I think that they're going to incorporate him more.
Well, we did talk about that. James did get tired in both the last 2 years in the playoffs.
Sure, he did. He ran. Ox was the one who brought that up. That he ran out of gas. He did that Western Conference run when they went to the Western Conference Championship. He ran out of gas. Sure.
Such a bum.
I think
awful,
his legs,
Mars. Garbage.
I think his legs failed him in Game 5 too last year on that 3.
His legs are gonna, and now we're a year older. That's why I said when I was talking to Mars. That's why I said when I was talking to Mars. When you look at guys like JJ Redick, because that was a really good point you brought up, Mars. Even though you was trying to be funny, but it actually is a really good point where a coach sees another player in them and they want to involve them in the game. And I think JJ Redick looks at Austin Reeves like he's something similar to him, and I think he's going to involve him more in the game, just as a shooter, not necessarily as a one-on-one player, but more as a shooter.
Is LeBron their best shooter?
No,
Or is it
D'Lo. Across the board is
No.
D'Lo.
It's D'Angelo Russell.
So is LeBron their second best shooter?
No, across the board
No.
is still Reeves. I think it's Reeves from
Now,
mid-range.
wait a minute, Mars. I know where you're going with this. James had the best long ball shooting year of his career last year. Does that mean he's the best shooter on the team? It's the same as saying James or Austin Reeves scored the most. He had his best scoring season last year. Is he still a better scorer than James? No, he isn't. So is James a better shooter than Austin Reeves today? No, I don't think so. Even though he did have a great shooting season last year. No, I don't.
Oh no.
How good of a shooter do you guys think Austin Reeves is?
I think he's better than what you give him credit for.
No, I think he's I think he's like in the mid range. I think he's really good.
Maybe I'm too influenced by the playoff. I've seen him hit a bunch of daggers.
Yeah, from I think Austin Reeves is probably their best in between scorer, like mid range, elbow, pull ups, all of those things. But I guess I should have clarified. Well, maybe I don't. Maybe you guys interpret it as just 3-point shooting anyway. Is LeBron James their second best 3-point shooter, or is that Austin Reeves to you?
Where does Dawn Connect figure into this?
If I'm being honest with you, Mars, I feel more comfortable with James shooting the long ball.
I do too.
Than I do Austin Reeves.
As the defense or as the offense, you feel more comfortable?
As the offense, I feel more comfortable with him shooting the long ball than I do.
LeBron's threes are different though than Reeves. I think that's the problem. Like LeBron's gonna more than likely, depending on how you're playing, gonna be pull ups or in that little, look at the
Still a FU3.
Yeah, that's the Reeves. I mean, I think Reeves is going to get more open threes, I think, than James will. And on motion. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Keep going. Keep going. I apologize.
Action. They're just off action. Yeah.
And we've seen James. I mean, I watched the Oklahoma City game. We've seen James go back to D'Angelo Russell when D'Angelo Russell gets it cooking. He won't sit on the basketball. He will get off the ball. If a guy gets going, and because James is such a polarizing figure that you want to give him the ball, no, you go. James will do that. He will put that battery in your back. You go. Get going.
But they're role players, though. You know what I mean? That's hard to role players consistently, being able to elevate to that point. I think it's tough.
Didn't D'Lo set the record for most threes in a single season
for a Laker? LeBron shot 46% on catch and shoot threes last year.
Mm-hmm. What's the volume? What was the volume between all
D'Lo's
the
their
players?
best shooter, but
LeBron? Volume of catch and shoots. Let me find it. But he only shot like 34% on pull-up threes, which was below both Austin Reeves and D'Lo.
Right.
So
I mean, he have a game where he made 8 or 10 last year
against the Nets. He was like 9 for 10.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
he made 9 threes. To your point, Swiper, when you're talking about the role players, I mean, where do the role players, the lesser players, as confident as they are, they get more of that confidence from guys like James, from guys like Anthony Davis. So when you got guys like that going to them, I mean, that's why D'Angelo Russell shot the basketball the way he did, because James put that battery in his back a lot of times, telling him to shoot the basketball. Not as opposed to when, Steph Curry is looking at Jordan Poole like, get this dude off the floor.
D'Lo shot 4 a game at 43%. This is just catch and shoots.
Just catch and shoot.
Austin Reeves shot 3 a game at 36.7%, and LeBron shot 2.5 a game at 47%.
So he had a great year last year.
Yeah,
that's not.
Does he hover around that again?
I don't know if he's gonna be that good.
He's basically Grayson Allen from 3 off ball, just not without the volume. Like that's
that sound wild as hell. Swipe. Right. I'm sorry.
That's what he was.
But then pull-up threes, he was 33% on 2 attempts a game. Austin Reeves was 37% on 2 attempts a game, and D'Lo was 39% on 2.8. So
that's why I think
D'Lo was their best overall 3-point shooter, and then I guess Bron and Reeves were, depending on what you value, close. I guess.
And to what you just mentioned, Mars, Austin Reeves on pull-up threes, we speed the game up and we find Austin Reeves in transition more, stop and pop long ball, right? And even when we get in the secondary break where like the defense is collapsed, most of the defense is down, and he sees Austin Reeves in his right corner, or he sees Austin Reeves in his left peripheral, and he waits for the defense in the secondary break, and then that's another stop and pop. Also coming off pin downs where we got curl cuts or we got fades where it's one dribble and pop. So I think that he incorporates Austin Reeves a lot more involved in a lot more in the offense than what happened last year. And on top of that rotation where James got to come out of the game at 7 minutes. No, we got to fix that.
But that's a LeBron rotation. I think LeBron sets that rotation because when it comes to star players, they set their own rotation. And so, like, there's typically not like a decision made like from a coach. They'll tell their coach like, either I want to do this or I'm willing to change. And maybe LeBron, he's been doing that for so long. He did that with the Lakers when he won the championship. He did that with Cleveland. He just staggers. Like that's just how it. He'll come out the middle of the first quarter. He'll come back in at the end of the first quarter, and then second quarter, and then do the same thing. Over and over again.
But here's the difference with that though, Swiper. You just mentioned them being able to stagger these minutes. I mean, I watched them play Golden State last year where they're down, I think it was 14. They get back in the game and they cut the lead to 5 with like 4 minutes in the third. James comes out of the game. Don't take James out of the game, but James comes out of the game. That 4-point lead goes back to 10 at the end of the third. Now Golden State has the momentum. That 10 goes right back up to 16. You keep James in the game, you keep the momentum. So that's what I mean when I say that the rotation, I don't think that should be something on a nightly basis. I think it should be situational more than anything.
All right, fellas. I need a prediction. Where will the Lakers finish in the regular season, and how far will they make it in the playoffs? Ox, I'm going to start with you. Seed and how far they go.
The Lakers probably 7, 8, 9, playing team again. How far they go is really kind of dependent on their matchup. If they can catch a young team slipping, they could probably make something happen. But, if they catch Denver, Phoenix, us, or I don't know who they can beat, really. I'm thinking on it like I don't know who they can beat. I don't know. I don't think they have a very long playoff. I think they got a first round exit. I'm not big on the Lakers. I think Bron can't carry no more. His tank is a little smaller than it used to be.
So, a lot smaller.
Yeah, and I mean he's still amazing. He's still amazing. Don't get me wrong, but you got to have a tank to get through the playoffs. I just think he's just older. You know what I mean? So that's all it is. Bron can't carry like he used to, and I don't think AD could carry either. So,
all right, Casual. Where will they finish in the regular season, and how far will they go in the playoffs?
Probably 6th or 7th seed finish. Depends how healthy LeBron and Anthony Davis are. I think they'll be pretty healthy. 6th, 7th. I'll just give a couple losses chalked up to just simply JJ Redick being new, figuring things out. I'll chalk up a couple losses early in the season. But I think they're going to be like what they've been the last 2 years, which is a strong second half team. How far they go, their ceiling, I don't think this is a contending team. Like contending being like can go to the finals simply because I don't think their defense is that good. I don't think this is a great defensive team. Anthony Davis is a good defender, but
that's what I'm saying. Though. That's it right there, Casual. When you talk about Anthony Davis, I mean Anthony Davis can make a good defensive team great.
Yeah, he can do that. They're going to be a good defensive team because Anthony Davis. But at the end of the day, like who's?
What do you mean, Swiper? They had the best defense in the playoffs, and when y'all won the NBA championship
2 years ago, that was when like Vanderbilt was playing a lot. They had Patrick.
He's going to be on the roster this year.
Schroeder. But I mean, but it can.
The 2023 playoffs was literally like 14 months ago.
Like, it's not like this shit was 5 years ago.
Like you guys be saying 2 years ago, like we're very far removed from it.
We're not.
Like a little bit of different personnel here. And they also had some favorable matchups to make their defense even better. Their defense will look better depending on the favorable matchups. That's why, too, because they play the Golden State Warriors. They play the Memphis Grizzlies. More favorable matchups to their defense. But I don't think their defense overall, especially on the perimeter, is good enough for them to win a title. But their ceiling, to me, as long as they have LeBron, as long as they have Anthony Davis, the team is still solid enough for them to make a Western Conference Finals run. But they're in that like bubble of teams, like 5 to 6 teams that can make to the Western Conference Finals, just given the right matchup. Because if they get a smaller team that's less experienced too, they can make a run. But if they get like the T-Wolves or the Nuggets first round, they probably lose.
Mars?
6 through 9 seed. Swing factors being AD and LeBron's health. If JJ Redick's actually a competent NBA coach.
You have any idea what you're doing, coach? You have any idea?
Floor spacing, and then just defensive personnel. So if they hit on all of those factors, I can maybe see them being maybe a 5 seed, but I'll say 6. And then if a lot of those things go wrong, I can see them being a 9, 10-ish seed. Postseason, assuming if they make the postseason, most of those things went well, I could see them in the conference finals. They're going to be tough to beat for a lot of teams. Only teams I think that would beat them relatively convincingly would be OKC and maybe Denver. Everyone else, it's going to be a tough series in my opinion. So conference finals, I guess, would be my feeling for them. I mean, yeah, the Kings too. The Kings will beat them in about 4 or 5 games, yeah. So, yeah, the Kings too. But the Kings, they're not going to see the Lakers in the playoffs.
Swiper, where will the Lakers finish
7.
the regular season? And how far will they go in the playoffs?
7th ceiling second round. The 7th ceiling second round.
Okay. Chill.
I think they right around what Swiper said. I think they win anywhere between 46 and 49 games. I think that's good enough for a 6 or maybe I think that's good enough for a 7 seed, maybe a 6 seed. And if they can avoid the Denver Nuggets, I like their chances against anybody else. That includes Oklahoma City, that includes Minnesota, that includes Dallas, that includes Memphis, that includes Houston, all of those other teams. I like their chances against them. If they have to see Denver in round 1, they're out.
That LeBron-Anthony Davis duo poses a lot of nightmare problems for a lot of teams, and I think people just aren't thinking about it.
They just do. If you look at if I'm looking at them playing against Oklahoma City, if we could keep the game close, when we get into the meat and potatoes of the game, am I taking Shea and Chet over James and Anthony Davis? No,
Shea
I'm
versus
Shea, one of the best clutch players in all of basketball.
I'm taking Shea and Chet over James and Anthony Davis. No, I'm not.
I'm taking OKC over the Lakers, but
remember, it's Shea versus Austin Reeves or D'Lo, and then pull up mid post more than likely.
Well, it's not that. I mean, when you think about the Lakers, why do they go to the conference finals in 23? Because Grizzlies and Warriors, they were just bigger than them. And their front line of James, Anthony Davis, posts a lot of nightmare problems. And I think the reason why they can't beat Denver is because Denver could match their strength in the front line with an Aaron Gordon, with a Nikola Jokic. That just kind of negates the Lakers' size because Jokic is such a great rebounder. Aaron Gordon's a good body down low with his size and him moving on the block. But against other teams that are a little smaller down low, like the Clippers or OKC, the Lakers pose problems. And we saw in the regular season last year, you heard a lot of people going in the playoffs, the Lakers want to see OKC, not just because OKC was inexperienced at the time, but because the Lakers were just bigger than OKC, could out-rebound OKC. Anthony Davis could punish them down low, and they don't have a body to consistently throw out LeBron. That's the matchup problems. That's why I think they have a conference final ceiling. It's because that LeBron-Anthony Davis duo poses a lot of problems for opposing teams.
The problem with Joker is he does so damn much, Swiper. That's the goddamn problem. If he only did like maybe 1 or 2 things really good, then you got a shot. But he just does so much, so damn good that you can't really have a scheme for him. Okay, I'm gonna crowd him around 18 feet away from the basket. He's getting to the basket. Okay, I'm gonna let him shoot the long ball. The long ball digressed a little bit last season, but then he can get that going again. Okay, then, all right, I'll get him on the box against Anthony Davis. I've never seen anybody bust Anthony Davis' ass like that on the box like he did. Never. He just does so much. We're going to double him. Okay, we double him. That's playing right into his hands because that's what he wants. He just wants to play. He wants those guys to play off of him, and he wants to get those guys involved. your best bet against Joker, make him go for 45, 50. Make him do that. Make him go for 45, make him go for 50, and slow everybody down. That's your best bet against them. But anybody else in the Western Conference, I'm good.
I think OKC. I mean, we'll find out. OKC got a lot of prove it in them, but OKC could be special this year. But they could be.
I think they're the 1 seed.
They could be. They
will
will
win about 65 games, and everyone will be like, "Oh my god!" So,
Where this come from?
All right, y'all. We got a few super chats. Michael Haynes sent through a super chat. He said, "What would the Warriors place if the LeBron trade happened?"
No, the 12.
Who would they have given up? Who was Golden State giving up to get James?
Everyone
Wiggins.
except Steph and Draymond.
Yeah, Wiggins, Kuminga.
Yeah.
So the Warriors are going to gut their whole team for LeBron.
Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Just
They'll
have him.
be like the 12 seed. They'll be like the 12 seed.
That team doesn't make the playoffs.
I mean, Clay, LeBron, Steph, Dre.
They'll be like the 12 seed.
I don't think that team makes the playoffs. They make the play-in, but they probably lose.
I know Steph Curry, LeBron. What is that? 1-4 pick and rolls.
It's a lot of good. That's good offense there, but I'm seeing
Draymond shot 39% from 3, so you know he a floor spacer.
He did.
Yeah, he a floor spacer now. So
I've seen Draymond make 5 threes in the NBA Finals.
what does that
Steph ever done
second unit look
He just
like?
did that not too long ago. I
What's all
think
the
he made.
defense?
It was not too long ago when they played in the regular season. He made like 4 threes in a game. I want to say against Sacramento. They left him open.
he a floor spacer now, man. Guys ain't locked in. He passed Larry Bird in career threes. Like we do this for him.
So you know what that means, Mars? He a better shooter than Bird.
I mean, the way people be praising these longevity stats, I mean, probably.
You better shooter than Bird. No.
Merry Christmas.
Play the swiper.
All right, Swiper.
Play the brother. He a better shooter than Bird. So.
Kundrill said, "Who misses the West playoff?"
The Spurs, the Jazz, the Blazers,
Warriors,
The Warriors.
Rockets.
the Pelicans,
You say it, Mars. The Warriors. That's correct. Say it.
Well, 2 teams are going to make the play-in and then get bounced out. So
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't know who's going to win in a single elimination game. That's the problem.
2 teams are going to make the play-in.
The
and not
bottom
make the
3 are going to be the Blazers, the Jazz, and the Spurs. I know that
for a fact.
And then the 11 and 12 seeds, I don't know, man. We're gonna wait and see. Someone's gonna get hurt. Like someone's gonna get injured in the West. That's gonna be the 12 seed, and then the 11 seed just gonna be unlucky. That's all I know.
The Clippers
Yeah, what
are
if
out.
Zion gets hurt? That throws a whole monkey wrench into the Pelicans. What they're trying to do.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie. I don't have a 1 through 15 prediction for you for the West. One team's gonna get hurt, like a Memphis from last year. They're gonna be bad, and then you're gonna have the bad 3, and then that one more team for the 11 seed. I don't know who's gonna be, and I don't know who's gonna be 9 and 10 either. So, yeah, the West is too difficult for me to judge.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking at the Western Conference right now, Mars, right? If I'm looking at the West at the top, I think it's going to be Minnie, Oklahoma City. Let's see, Minnie, Oklahoma City. I think Memphis.
Yeah.
Denver,
Denver's still
Houston.
top. Yeah. A Houston 5.
Yes, I think
He has them
I-
top
I-
5.
I think they're going to be
Houston's
awesome
above
this
the
season.
Lakers.
I do. I think Houston's going to be awesome this season. Houston at 5.
On what? What makes you? You keep going. then
He
we'll come
thinks
back.
we're gonna take the OKC type jump. That's what he thinks.
Dallas at 6. The Lakers at 7. Did I say Sacramento already?
No.
No.
Okay, Sacramento at 8. And did I say Phoenix?
No.
See, the conference is
Right,
stupid.
right.
We don't need to predict this conference. It doesn't make sense. The conference is ridiculous.
How did Memphis get the 3, Chill?
So Phoenix, because they got their whole crew coming back.
They were top.
Everybody.
They were top 3 back-to-back years.
So Phoenix and the Clippers are in the play-in tournament, and those 2 guys are. I think those two teams are going to be on the outside looking in. No, not.
But
I think
y'all
that-
do
I think-
know,
I think
like,
Phoenix
Dylan
makes the
Brooks-
playoffs, though. Yeah, I think Phoenix makes the playoffs. I think New Orleans is out.
Yeah,
I think New Orleans
Dylan Brooks and Steven Adams was on those teams.
Yeah, but they got Zach Edey and Gigi Jackson. That's their replacements.
Does Houston make the problem with Houston making the OKC jump is because OKC made the jump because they had a guy named Shai Gilgeous-Alexander who was third.
They
in
made the jump
second
because
in
they had a
MVP.
guy in the chat, but sure.
They had a guy who was second in MVP.
Mm-hmm.
You need that to make the jump.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
they had Shea the year before and were a 10 seed. The
well,
addition
the
was
year.
Chet. The addition was Chet and the leap
Memphis
from
make the
Jada.
jump?
Well, you do need
Shea-
Shea. You do need Shea, but the difference.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was as close to the same player as any
well,
superstar
okay,
has
but
been.
I was going to add.
I won't argue that,
So,
but you do need
Shea
Shea.
wasn't the difference.
Chet was the difference.
Yeah,
Chet
Chet
was the
and
difference,
J-Dub's
but you need a
different.
Shea. Memphis doesn't make it. Memphis has Jaren Jackson. They have all these pieces, but they don't make the jump unless they have John Morant going to 27 points a game. So
no, because their offense was mid. They were great because their defense was top 2.
My problem is, does Jalen Green make that jump?
No.
Is Jalen Green that guy? You can't be a top 5.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute,
Casual. That guy.
Well, wait a minute. Now, what kind of jump are we talking about here? Because I think that 20
jump.
No, I'm not talking about 25. I'm not talking about 30 a game. I'm talking about that 22 going to 25 a game, and what Sengun gives you, and I think Houston's going to be one of the 5 best defensive teams in the league, not in the Western Conference, in the league.
Houston is a top 5 seed in the West if Jalen Green's all NBA. You cannot be a top 5 seed.
Oh, well, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
In this West without Jalen Green.
So if we have a top 5
that true?
NBA.
No, so if we have a top 5 defense and Jalen Green doesn't take the jump, but he's just a regular, efficient, solid guard, 21 a game, good efficiency. Right. Sengun is probably slightly better than he was last year.
I don't think that's a 5 seed. I don't think that's
neither do I, but chose with that. But borderline all-star, elite defense, 2 very good players. Jabari Smith is going to be an elite floor space at 6'10" big. Amen Thompson's probably going to take a jump. Why is that not a 50-win team? Why is that not a 50-win team? Like, why do you need a superstar to be that good? Shea was a superstar in 23. They were a 10 seed. They had Chet, who's not a superstar. They have J-Dub, who takes a good leap to slightly below all-star, and they become a 57-win team. That's not because of Shea, because Shea was there the year before doing Shea things, and they won 40 games.
But you still need that guy.
Shea isn't a different. Well,
but you still need that guy.
But you don't, though, because
every team needs their best player. But we're gonna need Sengun. But that doesn't mean we need Sengun to be a top 10 player in the league. We just need Sengun to bring what he already brought to a 500 basketball team with improvements on the ancillary. Is that a word? Ancillary? On the outside, I tried to use a word that was too big for my vocabulary. On the outside, the Reed Shepard's going to come in and contribute. Fred VanVleet's still going to be there. Dylan Brooks is going to be a more consistent offensive player, especially compared to what he was towards the end of the season. Jabari Smith's going to take a 3rd-year jump. Amen Thompson's going to take a 2nd-year jump. Cam Whitmore's going to be more consistent. Steven Adams is now going to be there. So we actually have a competent backup big and not Jock Landale and Jeff Green like we had for half a season. All of that, why can't we add 8 wins to our total just off the strength of that, not even including a jump from Jalen Green and Sengun? Just based on the strength of our rotation and our 3rd, 4th players down, why can't we add 8 wins just off of that?
That's a lot to ask. You're asking everyone to make a jump.
That's how teams get better.
I'm asking my young players who have shown clear flash potential to take a jump.
Yes. Well, everyone can make a jump, but these big jumps.
Yeah, not really. I need Amen Thompson to be a borderline all defensive level player. Tari Easton's going to be back healthy, which is perfect. Jabari, I just need to be a consistent offensive weapon who still shows defensive versatility. I need Steven Adams to not be a shell of his former self and just be what he was for Memphis. I don't think I'm asking for a lot. I'm not even asking for all-star jump.
You are, though. You're asking for every single player on your team to get better.
Yeah, my 23 and younger.
Why is that ridiculous, though, Casual?
Since when is that a bold expectation to expect my 23 and younger players to improve season upon season?
And they don't have to. And they don't have to.
Not like the common expectation when you have a young team, you expect your players to get better. Like, are OKC not expecting Chet to be better next season?
Yes, they are. 100%.
Are OKC not expecting Kayson Wallace to be better next season?
And Dub to be better? Yes,
are they not expecting these things? Like, yes, is that not just a 100%. Common expectation when you have young players that they get better year on year?
Casual. I think that you're in the mode of teams that they add other pieces. That's how they get better. No, this is exactly how you get better. You get better by your young players getting better. And if you think about the Utah Jazz in 21, just so you know, Rudy Gobert was the only one who was an all-pro. They were the number 1 seed because they had an elite defense. I think Houston collectively as a unit.
Oh, they had Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, and he didn't make the all-pro team. Just so you know.
Yeah, that was disgusting. But
I thought it was too. But the point is that collectively as a unit, I think this team can be elite defensively. I think they can be a top 5 team. So when you got a guy like Eason coming off the bench, giving you quality minutes, in addition to him coming off the bench, Mars already knows how I feel about Jabari Smith. I think he can be an all-league defender.
I'm not denying that this team is going to be good defensively, but at the end of the day, what I said, my main point is if you're asking this team to be the 5 seed in this brutal West. Brutal
Very,
West.
very brutal.
Brutal West. You said Utah was number one because Rudy Gobert was anchoring that defense. They also had a guy in Donovan Mitchell, and that's why I brought up at the front. I can get behind Houston being a top 5 seed if you can convince me that Jalen Green is going to be that guy.
Why does it have to be Jalen Green?
So if Jalen Green is that guy, if you don't have a guy, you're not going to be number 5.
Why does it have to be Jalen Green and not Sengun?
It could be Sengun. That 22
Why
again
does
is
it have to be
Nikola Jokic? Maybe.
And just so you know,
he doesn't need to be Jokic. He just needs the All NBA jump, like you say. Why can't he be DeMontis Sabonis? No, I'm not expecting DeMontis. I'm just saying DeMontis Sabonis is an All NBA level big. Why can't Sengun develop into that? Why is that unheard of?
At 22 years old, by the way,
coming off averaging what 21, 9, 6.
To me, I just
Improve
feel like
defense.
I think
Green
that 21 can
has
turn into
more.
26.
Why I rely more on Green is because he has that explosive upside where he can go for like 30 a game. That's the upside he has, and that's what I'm trying to ask. Because yes, Sabonis, you could argue maybe the best player, but the Kings still have De'Aaron Fox. They still need that guy who can rattle off those points for 25 to 30 points per game on good efficiency. And that's all I'm asking is Jalen Green going to be that guy? And if you can convince me, I'm down. Because I don't think he has scoring upside, and they need that.
I think they operate more on Sengun.
Well, why did Houston win so many games at the end of the year last year, and they went on that ridiculous winning streak? On the backs of, yes, they played good defense, but at the end of the day, who was the one taking scoring leads?
Jalen Green got busy, right?
Jalen basketball. So that's what I'm asking: is Jalen Green going to make that leap into a really great scorer in this league, 27 points a game? Because that's what it's going to take for them to be the 5th seed in the West.
I think 25, to be honest with you, I think 25 is good enough. And the reason why I think 25 is good enough is because I think Sengun gets better. If you got 2 guys on your crew that are 25 a game, plus you're playing elite defense with the rotation players that they have, I think that's good enough for 50-plus wins.
And they did make that run last year without Sengun. So what does his team look like? What does Jalen Green
look like? The run
started
with Sengun. He went down after 4 games.
So what does that team dynamic look like now with Sengun? What step does Jalen Green make with Sengun in the lineup? So
he's gonna be perfectly fine next to Sengun because they complement each other. The Timberwolves won 56 games last year, and Anthony Edwards was a negative efficiency scorer in the regular season.
And not only that, I mean, he's also a guy who, in the mid-range, he was elite early in the season, and then he fell off a cliff. That happened.
So do you really need that? Because if Anthony Edwards can be negative efficiency,
Anthony Edwards finished All NBA second team. That's
I mean, if the measuring stick is actually who gets voted to be
All NBA second team.
Right. I mean, if Jalen Green can average 25 on negative efficiency, does it matter if he makes an All NBA team or not, or is that the measuring stick? Because you said explosive scoring. If I'm sure Anthony Edwards is an explosive scorer, but he was factually inefficient last year, and the Wolves won 56 games. So if Jalen Green puts up 24, 25 a game on negative efficiency, do you think the Rockets can be a top 5 seed?
If he can put up 23 to 25 points per game, he can.
Now remember who you?
Yeah, I mean, if he puts up 23 consistently.
Now remember who you're talking about, Casual. Before you go
like slightly below 20 on bad efficiency.
Like before the jump, though, like before that.
Before the jump, he was probably around 18. He was like 17, and he got it up to about 20 to close the year. But that stretch, he was averaging like 29.
And it's Houston's defense be at the level of Minnesota?
They had the best defense in the league last year.
I mean, I think we can be at the level of Orlando from
Rudy, because they have the Rudy Gobert in the paint. They also have Cat, a big body, McDaniels, and then Anthony Edwards is a pretty good defender.
We don't have a Rudy, but we do have the other things. We have the Tarisons, the Dylan Brooks, the Amen Thompsons, the Jabaris. Fred is a very good defender, especially considering his size. Steven Adams is going to be the big body that we're alluding to. So we have the pieces. But do I think we're going to be a Minnesota defense? No, but I do think we can be an Orlando type defense, and not in terms of quality. I think Orlando are number 2, but in terms of the way we defend, I think it's going to be more in the mold of Orlando in terms of versatility, switchability, length, all of those things. I think that's the mode we'll be in. And Orlando, I know it's the East, but we're about 48 wins, top 5 seeds with a bad offense. I think if we can have an elite defense, and I think our offense is better than Orlando's was last year.
That's what I say too. Like, how good is this Houston offense going to be? I wonder where they finish.
Around league average is probably where I'd have us. Around league average. It all depends on if we can make open
Orlando's
threes.
was terrible. Orlando's was terrible. I would like.
Yeah, it was bottom 10.
It was better than Orlando,
and that's what I'm saying. If we can have a defense that's not as good as Orlando's last year, but a top 5 defense, and have a better offense around league average, I don't know if it's a 5 seed because the West is stacked, but I think
that's what I'm going to say. The East can rattle off against the Hawks and such.
I think it's about 49-50 wins though. Like that's how good I think we can be. Wherever that lands us in the season, that's why I'm not
better than that, Mars. I do. I think you guys are better than 50 wins, man. I do.
I'm here for it. I would much rather watch win games than lose. But
the reason why I'm high is because I'm thinking about what this team can look like defensively more than anything, and I know who Ime Udoka is as a coach and what his mantra is. That's what it was with the Celtics. And I think he's now got these young guys that he's molding in the Easton and Jabari Smith and Dylan Brooks. He's molding these guys into being tougher. And a lot of the games that you guys lost last year were because you watched them. You told me yourself, boss, you watched all 82 of your games. A lot of the games I feel like you lost last year, you lost those games because you got out toughed. You were close in games and you might have gotten pushed around a little bit more than you would like to. And I think that now this season, being a little bit more mature, understanding how to win games a little bit better. I'm not saying that the Houston Rockets are winning the NBA championship, but understanding how to play off of each other, understanding defense is better. Understanding offense is better, being a better defensive team. I think this team is a 50-plus win team. I think they're a top 5 seed in the West.
So this is the measuring stick. So this is where we are with Jalen Green. I just pulled it up. The March, that's where they won. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like 11 games in a row.
Right.
Jalen Green in March. They win
the longest win streak any team had in the season, by the way.
Yeah, they went like 13-2 in March. Yep. Jalen Green was round up to 28 on 49, 41, 77 splits. And that's when they won all those games.
Yep.
Now, that some of those games were without Şengün, I believe. And they are going to be better as a team as a whole next year.
Right.
So we can reduce some points from Jalen Green. If you need him to win 50.
Stop right there, Casual, because I want you to keep going, but stop right there. Why do we have to reduce points from him? Because having a guy like Şengün
because they needed Jalen Green to score that much points to win those games. But if you're going to bring Şengün back, you get better as a whole. You could take a point or two off Jalen Green and still win games simply because the team around him is going to be better.
Okay.
You're going to still have to ask Jalen Green on good efficiency to be 23 to 4 points a game. If you want to win, like Chill said, more than 50 games.
I don't think it's ridiculous to think that Jalen Green can give me. I mean, he was 22 a game.
Would have to be awesome. Mind you, we talked about Minnesota because you said Anthony Edwards was negative efficiency or whatever, averaging 23. They also have Karl-Anthony Towns, who's pretty good, get all-star, get you 20. Şengün also has to be like that as well. And on top of Minnesota having one of the best defenses in the league. That's what for them to win.
That was why I made the comparison, because
that's why they had to make so many games.
Yeah, Jalen Green can be the high volume, inefficient regular season scorer.
And Şengün's gonna have to be like
Şengün is an efficient scorer who's a better passer than Cat. Maybe not a better offensive player because of the spacing, but like the post presence, all of that. And then defensively, we're not going to defend the same way as the Timberwolves because we don't have that dominant.
You don't have the rim protector like Rudy Gobert.
But we do have elite defensive personnel. So if our mode for success is going to be anything, it will be similar to the Timberwolves.
20 points a game last year.
And the Timberwolves are a top 3 seed. We don't need to be that. We just need to come 5th in Chill's estimation. So I think it's possible. But if Jalen Green is March Jalen Green for a whole year, I think we're a top 2 seed. I just don't think he's going to do that. But if he is that,
Mars, I think he's anywhere between, because again, 2 years ago, he was 22 a game on not very good efficiency. So now, 2 years later, understanding how to play defense, being with a better coach, I think that 22 that he was averaging, I think that can go to 24, 25 a game. And I also think that Şengün, I think that 23 and 12, I think that's equivalent to other teams having a 27 and 11 guy. Plus the defense that you guys are going to be playing this season, I think that they're going to be an elite defensive team. I think they're a 50-plus win team, and I think that they're a top 5 seed in the West.
If Jalen Green's awesome, this team could be top 5 in the West. I can see him being top 5 and making that jump. It just comes down to Jalen Green, borderline MVP.
Jalen Green's elite. I'm going to be unbearable. So.
All right, y'all. We got super chats. If you are in the chat, salute to you. Especially salute to the people that have been in here for the whole show. You guys are the real MVPs. The chat does clear. Subscribe if you haven't, and send through some super chats. David said, Dub Ox saying he doesn't want a Denver poverty chip.
I never saw, to be honest with you, maybe you dudes might be different than me when it comes to this. I never subscribed to that. Being an NBA champion, sure, you want to beat the best, but you need some things to go your way. You 100% need them things to go your way. And I am not giving back my NBA trophy because Kawhi Leonard couldn't hold up. I'm not lessening what I did because Giannis got hurt in the playoffs. I am not lessening what I did because KD got hurt. No, hell no, I'm not doing that. Now, I understand that you want to be able to say, we went through this team, and this team. But you not holding up, that's a you issue. That's not my problem. I held up. I use this example with Mars all the time when we talk about a race. Mars, we run 100 yards. If you blow a tire at 80 yards, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem. I'm not giving my gold medal back. No.
So the Nuggets championship is poverty?
Yeah, because they played the play-in Timberwolves.
Oh, here we go.
Then they don't respect the Suns. Then they play the play-in Lakers team, and then a play-in Heat team.
And first of all, I hate when we call teams play-in teams when 5 years ago the 7th seed wasn't a play-in team. You're a playoff team. The 7th seed was a playoff team for 5 years ago. I hate when we call a play-in team, to me, is the 9-10. That's a play-in team. Because 5 years ago, without the play-in, you're out. But the 7-8 team, you're here before the play-in.
Casual, you know what a play-in team is?
Things change.
They had to go through Anthony Edwards. Then they had to go through Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. Then they had to go through LeBron, AD. Then they had to go through Jimmy and Bam. If you don't look at the team record and just look at the players they had, that's a good team. And mind you, the Lakers started off so poor. They had one of the best finishes, one of the best second-half seasons in the league that year when they played in the Western Conference Finals. I don't buy it at all. And the Heat were the 1 seed before. They just couldn't hit a 3 in the regular season, so they went all the way down to like 8. They played.
Man, I'm not moved. That ring doesn't move me, man. Trash ring.
And because they lost to a good Minnesota team that they should have beaten 7 games, this is a poverty ring?
Yep. Never beat a 51 team.
I ain't buying it at all. Nope.
All right. Well, what you guys should be buying is good lunch. And I got a good option for you, just in case you're questioning what it should be.
What up, PC Nation? Warmer, sunnier days are calling. Fuel up for them with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time for summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. Make today the day you kickstart a new healthy routine. What are you waiting for? With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. Crush your wellness goals this July with dietitian-approved meals and ingredients that you can trust. Make your day delicious. From breakfast to dessert, stay fueled with easy, nutritious options. Treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon. Keep kitchen time to a minimum. Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning up. Enjoy effortless support for your lifestyle. Choose from 6 menu preferences to help you manage calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or simply eat well-balanced. Head to factormeals.com/playerschoice50 and use code playerschoice50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code playerschoice50 at factormeals.com/playerschoice50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active.
Slitherman with the super chat. He said, all right, last one. Peak AI versus Shea right now. I need the record set straight. Who we taking?
Shea's VORP is higher. So I'm going to go with Shea.
Peak Allen Iverson. Give me a second. I'll let you guys go. Cause
you need a second for Chill.
He knows what the VORP says.
It's not necessarily it's not the VORP that's it for me. I just know that Allen Iverson was just relentless. He wasn't as efficient as Shea. No, not nearly as efficient as Shea, but he was relentless. And he's not gonna stop. And it led to them winning.
I don't want to offend any old heads, but
oh god, you're about to say something flagrant. Okay.
I'm not going to say anything bad. I'm not picking sides. I'm just floating the question out there. Is it insane to pick SGA? Is it insane?
No. The VORP says this, SGA.
No, not just off VORP, but this is a guy who gives you a consistent 30 on good efficiency. Consistent. Not a horrible defender. Pretty good in other areas. But you can walk in a gym and he's going to give you a 30 ball on good efficiency. Is it? I know
is
AI.
Is that the separator, just the efficiency? Because if that's the separator, I mean, Allen, could he just take better shots?
I mean, Shay's better on defense. Shay's shoots better. His ball higher. His box plus minus. Like, all the analytics point towards
take the nostalgia, take the MVP 2001 run out of it, and just look at these two players for how it is. Is it crazy to pick SGA?
I don't think it's ridiculous. That's why I had to think about it. Casual.
I'm not going to pick SGA, but I'm just saying, is it crazy?
That's why
how people are discounting the VORP.
That's why I had to sit down and think about it. So, Mars, the VORP only matters because of the crew that you on. Okay.
What?
I know the VORP is important to you. I care about the VORP too, Mars. I care about the VORP too, but that's why I had to think about it for a second, Casual, because I'm thinking about how good SGA is. But when I think about how relentless Iverson is, and he has that kind of game where once he gets going, forget it. I'm not sure if Shea is going to pour it on you like that.
He's not as big of a killer as Allen Iverson.
I don't know if he's going to pour it on you like Allen's not going to stop.
AI's like a Kobe.
I mean, sometimes you'd wish he would.
Oh, of course, sometimes. Yeah, Allen's not going to stop. I think it's Iverson.
So the VORP doesn't matter. The box plus minus doesn't
matter. It does.
Damn the VORP.
Yes, it does. Analytics matter, Mars. I'm a numbers guy. The data definitely matters.
What's the one you said after VORP, Mars?
Box plus minus.
Damn that too.
Winchester.
And that one, damn all that.
I don't know, man. Shea had a VORP of 7.1 this year. Allen Iverson's best was 6.1. Like,
I think to lead the youngest team in all of basketball to the number one seed in one of the most brutal conferences of my lifetime, it's a hell of an achievement. And he's giving 35-5. He's playing good defense. 6'6", what is he? 6'6", 6'5". Yeah. He's longer than Allen Iverson. So
I just don't think we give Chet enough credit for what he did for that unit.
No, he helped for sure, but SGA is still the leader at the end of the day.
Difference. I think
he helped him go from a 500.
He made J-Dub better. He made SGA better. He made a lot of these guys' lives a lot better. When you got a stretch five that can rim protect like that and speed the game up, which enhances SGA's game, which enhances which enhances Jalen's game, and on top of that, he can stretch the floor, shooting in the mid range and shooting the long ball. There aren't many teams who have that. There aren't many.
But at the end of the day, the margins in those games were still small. It still had to take SGA making big time shots down the stretch. It still had to take SGA getting 30, or they probably lose. The margins of those games were still pretty small. Yeah, Chet did help a lot, but SGA.
Shay's less explosive than AI. Like, the joke is like Shay's gonna get you 31, and that's where it stops.
That's what Chill was talking about.
But AI will give you 48, 50, but then he's also liable to go 4 for 26.
That's the difference, though, Mars. I mean, okay, is that what you're going to have to live with Allen Iverson, where he might go like he did in Game 7 against Toronto? I think he went like 5 for like 25 or something like that. But then you can also take into consideration where he might get going. Once he gets going, it's almost impossible to stop him.
All right, fellas, I got to step in. We got to wrap the show up. Alan L said, who cooked the Suns worse, the Mavs in 22 or the Nuggets in 23?
The Mavs.
The Suns 40 at home.
The Suns were supposed to run it back. The 2023 Suns, they made a trade for KD midseason. You can kind of coaching turmoil. You can kind of scrap it up into that. we didn't see Denver coming this way, but we definitely didn't see the Mavs in 2022. The Suns were what, the 1 seed in 22 or the 2 seed? Number 1.
64 wins. 64
that was a lot worse. And I think they were up in that series too, if I'm mistaken. They were up 2-0, I think, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And to get blown out at your home floor when you're
destroyed,
coming off
casual
final appearance and you're supposed to run it back, that's worse.
Gandhi KV2 said they have him in. Enough said.
Cook, that's going to be our best player in about a season.
Really?
All right, y'all. Appreciate you for tapping in. If you haven't liked the video yet, hit that like button. Subscribe on the way out. Open Gym is next. Casual, appreciate you for tapping in. We will see you guys Sunday for the Final Four of the PCL.
Merry Christmas.